Any thoughts on this side, Mandy? Have you ever watched Come Dine With Me? Yeah.
I think it's just light entertainment, and I think that's why majority of people like it. It's kind of mind-numbing TV, like any kind of reality TV show is. And I think personally that the voiceover guy makes it. But yeah, I enjoy it. I think it's light-hearted telly, which is a bit of fun, which is personally why I watch TV. Switch off.
So actually to switch off, to numb the mind.
Yeah.
Do we all need to numb our minds a little bit at that point in the day? Yeah, go on, Pablo.
Yeah, although with that being said, I'm not sure if anyone else watched that program that was on recently about celebrities learning new techniques to memorize things.
Oh yeah. No,
that was fantastic. That was really interesting. So you know what? It's like, yes, there's entertainment value, but you don't have to be mean about it. You can still learn things. And
right, so you don't necessarily have to be mean to entertain. So celebrities were finding new ways to memorize things.
Yeah.
Okay, celebrity memories. Okay, did you watch that as well, Winston? Go and tell it. What do you think of it? Grab the mic.
In terms of light entertainment, you can learn from it. I mean, I started to pick up some of my memory is pretty bad.
Yeah.
So watching that, I found it interesting to find out how you can memorize certain things. And watching celebrities doing it, I thought, it's interesting. And it's entertaining at the same time.
Yeah. Whereas, what are the techniques to memorize things better?
Memory palace.
Yeah.
What's that?
So one of the things that I saw was creating your own memory palace. So it's this place where you store up your memories
and link
them up to the things. So for example, I'll be like, so talk to the people speak, microphone, and I'll put that in my memory palace in a corner.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm thinking back to it, I'm like, orange microphone.
Okay, so
we're going to have to head out for a second, but we'll be back.
Okay, give us a final thought before you go.
Final thought, anyone that wants to join us, we have an open showroom up there. If anyone wants to see what's
going on, what the big fuss is about. Okay. See you in a bit. Okay. Memory palaces we're talking about. You've got something on that or something else, is it? I don't know.
I mean, I was hoping to learn a bit more about the memory side of things because I've been learning Spanish and I think I speak Spanish quite well now, but I'm always trying to learn new vocabulary. So I'd love to have heard some tips on tricks on how to kind of keep some of the vocab in there.
I wonder if you could do it using the memory palace idea.
I wonder.
I mean, we didn't get much on it, but I'm guessing it's about putting different items that you need to remember in a kind of familiar space and giving it a kind of spatial identity.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, but
that's what
it's
I'm
hard
thinking.
to know because
sometimes I do that naturally.
Yeah, we need.
And I'm going on. But I was just going to say, I think all of these tips and tricks about memory are really good because, when you think about like Alzheimer's and stuff like that, I think training your brain to memorize things could be very beneficial when, getting older and trying to fight things like Alzheimer's and dementia.
Okay, so that can actually help you when you get a bit older. Memory palace, do you know anything about it? No? Justin, no? Do you have problems remembering things?
All the time.
All the time? Would you like a better memory?
Definitely, and it's getting worse as I get older, I think.
Right, okay. Go on, Margot.
About memory.
Yeah.
Sometimes
don't touch the cable.
I sometimes feel like when I was a child, I really hated memorizing poems and things like that. And whenever the teacher would be like, okay, gotta memorize that for in 2 weeks' time, I'll be like, oh, God's sake, because I just don't like memorizing things. But I really enjoy recalling some lines of some poems and hear that, and just kind of, just have that to hand, because I feel like these days I don't memorize anything, and I'm always impressed when someone just quotes something at random. I'm like, wow, you remembered this, because it just takes a bit of, focus and persistence to memorize it and then don't forget it for years to come. But also I think as a child you remember things that kind of stick in your mind.
So it's a kind of handy thing to show off about.
Yeah, but I think there's
a few choice.
Yeah, but
quotes.
Thinking about the poems and things that we memorized as children, I think there's a lot of good tips there, or just kind of like life wisdom.
Okay, so it's not just about the show-off element, it's also about the wisdom contained in some of these poetic things. Give us a final thought, Mandy, before you go.
I agree. I also think it's easier to memorize things when you're particularly interested in something. So if a poem or whatever has a meaning, or it's touched you in some way, then I think you would want to remember it.
Can you give us a line from a poem or a song that you've memorized?
No, I don't think I can.
Okay,
Sorry.
well maybe today is going to be the day when we give it all back to you. Go on, Ellen.
I memorized a poem. I don't know if this is classed as a poem, but I think it's a poem, Yeah. So maybe I can say a couple of lines.
Yeah, yes.
I don't know. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. I don't know if anyone recognizes that poem, but
No.
Is it Backstreet Boys?
It could be.
Did you say Pet Shop Boys or Backstreet Boys?
Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys, okay.
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
But you know what? I know what you mean about memorize. I used to be jealous. When I was like a child, I was jealous of people that could memorize their times tables, and just it was like a poem the way they'd say it, like 9, 18, it was like a poem. And I used to be so jealous of that because I was not very good at my times tables.
Right.
So I always found it very difficult memorizing my times tables. Even to this day, I still don't really. I have to kind of add it up in my head.
Need to remember that?
I mean, sometimes I think it's useful. Maybe like once every couple of years, somebody might ask me, what is 4 times 11?
44.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
More than every couple of years, Ilham. I do find myself drawing on that quite often. You do have to do mental arithmetic. Prices of things, number of apples, 4 times 8. I do find that. I'm glad that they made me learn that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sort of good up to about the 8s. When you get to the 12s, then I'm a bit rusty on it,
Wait, how big is the times table then? Because in Poland we only had it up to 9 or 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we did it up to 12 12s. Yeah.
Fair enough. We didn't have to memorize that.
I mean, do we even need to do all of that stuff anymore now that we've got phones?
I think it's.
Do we?
Do we?
I really don't think so. I think we can just get away without it. And also there are more important things than remembering times tables. Even though it may sound really nice when you recite it. But apart from this kind of rhythmical quality.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do wonder, like, what kind of things, how some of the things that we learn when, in school, that are maybe no longer relevant, like, what's that being replaced by? Because in my mind, I think sometimes memorizing things, it's more about training your brain in a way, and waking up those neural paths, exercising those neural paths. So
it is a kind of useful mental exercise.
That's what I think, and just focusing and being able to recall, I think is probably quite important. It's probably important brain
it's
exercise.
It's more about the brain activity than the actual content.
But maybe there's other things people are, we can do instead of times tables. That's a bit more relevant to 2021.
Okay, what would that be in your case?
Maybe it will be. I don't know.
Okay, well let's put a challenge out there to the table. That's Margot, Ellen, and Justin at the moment, but maybe more. We can throw this out there to Thamesmead at large. If you're going to throw away the times tables, we don't need them anymore. We've got phones. What is it worth memorizing instead? We need to get the brain working in terms of memory. What would you memorize instead of times tables? There's other stuff, I suppose, that you memorize as well, isn't there? Like
maybe
national anthem or something like that.
I don't know, types of trees.
Types of trees.
Because or birds or something. I mean, something really maybe you could say basic, but very often there'll be birds flying or something. I mean, admittedly, probably less so these days because they just don't live in cities anymore. But or not very many.
We have a lot of cygnets around here.
Right, maybe we could tweet about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, the second-hand September, recycled gags only.
Yeah.
Keep your new ones till October. No, but what I was going to say is that get people to memorize the names and the shapes of different birds and trees. Yeah. So then when you're walking in a park, you can go like, because there is an application that you can scan a plant with, and then it tells you what it is. But maybe we should memorize it because some of these names are sometimes quite complicated, like Latin or something.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you can now scan a plant. To not have to memorise it, does it mean that that's really worth memorising? Go on, Ellen.
You know what? I did download a free trial of this app, and I was surprised at how good it actually was. But also, what it did, it opened my eyes up to this plant. It gives you facts about it. The science name and everything. So.
Do we actually memorise it if we've got access to it technologically? Is it something worth memorising?
I think it's worth knowing. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you, it's all about your interest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you're interested in this plant, then you're gonna scan it. It's about keeping the interest alive, and so it's nice to be able to spot that plant.
I mean, in a way, what we need to memorise is all of our passwords to get to be able to.
Oh yeah, that's frustrating. That is frustrating.
Because that is something we do need to memorise.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
I see that.
But I agree with what Margot was saying actually, because we learn the times tables, but we're not really applying it to real life. Maybe learning about birds. I know what is a flock of birds. What does that mean? When do certain birds appear in our skies? What season?
Yeah.
So maybe applying the sort of times tables to real life would be beneficial.
Learning about nature rather than. Yeah. Any thoughts, Justin, on this side?
Well, I'm. As you know, Mikey, I don't have a phone. Yeah. You did make an assumption there.
I've just spotted your little Nokia there.
Yeah. So I can't look anything up, and I find myself increasingly surrounded by QR codes that I'm not able to access.
Yeah.
And I don't. When you say scan a plant, what do you mean scan a plant? How does it work?
Well, you open up the app, and then the phone, it literally just takes a photo of the app, and then it uses the technology to find out the name of that plant.
Oh, you mean you take a photo of the plant and it recognises the plant?
Exactly.
It tells you all about it and where it's from and stuff.
Yeah.
Gosh, what will they think of next?
How does it do that?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but it just made me think, particularly when mushroom picking, there was a case of two, actually this is a very sad story, but there were two children who are Afghani refugees, and they were held in Poland, and these children went out and picked some mushrooms, and both of them died. So they could have done with an app.
Yeah.
I mean,
Would you trust an app? To identify mushrooms?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, well, clearly. I mean, also these children, I think they went out on their own without parents. So maybe instead of an app, maybe they should just have parents with them.
I mean, could sort of parental, whatever it's called, parenting be replaced by an app? Could you get? I mean, if an app can recognise a plant, maybe an app can recognise good and bad behaviour in kids playing and could see. Can we get involved in this? Yes, you. 2 minutes.
Oh.
You're on the clock. I was going to say thank you. We've got Margot, we've got Ellen, we've got Justin, and me, Mikey.
Let me know if you want to swap posts.
Well, that time may be coming soon, Ellen.
I think what you were kind of beginning to touch on there, Mikey, was AI.
Yeah.
We could have robots raising our children.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, would they do a better job, or would they do an acceptable job?
Not if. Well, I've seen the film, and no, they all malfunction and start attacking the children.
But is that just because a film where the AI gets it right all the time would be quite a dull film? Yeah, I mean, you can imagine that film AI, if just the robots are working all fine and they just do stuff for us, it wouldn't make much of a film. What would be the plot, really? Go on.
One thing I find a little bit uncomfortable about just my mobile phone is that now it tells me when to text somebody. If there's somebody who I'm texting frequently, it would just say like, I will get a notification that says text this person.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I probably can switch it off, but I just haven't looked into it. But I always find that so weird that it knows.
What you mean, like your mum or something?
Yeah, like I recently was texting my brother quite a bit, and it tells me to text him, and I just find that uncomfortable.
So what criteria does it use to decide when you should text them?
And who you should text as well,
and usually it does remind me around the time that I'd usually text, my brother. So it.
Yeah.
And I really think you should turn that notification
I'm going to switch it off. I'm going to switch it off. Yeah.
It's up to you when you text someone, not some algorithm to tell you.
Hang on, we've got a new face at the table. Hello. Hi. So we've got Ellen, we've got Justin, we've got Marg over here. Tell us your name and have a seat. I'm Mikey. That's all right. Stay as long or as little as short. I'm not quite sure what the word is. Anyway, what was your name again?
My name's Doreen McLean.
Can we call you Doreen? Is that all right?
Yeah.
So you've got Margot, we've got Ellen, we've got Justin, and Mikey. At the moment, we're sort of talking about. We started talking about learning like the times table and stuff like that. Do kids need to learn that now? They've got phones. And if they were going to memorize stuff, what other stuff would they memorize? Then we started talking about now. Then we started talking about this idea that you could memorize nature and you could maybe memorize the plants and memorize what the names of the birds are or stuff like that. But then Ellen pointed out there's now an app you can get on your phone that you can just point it at a plant, it will tell you what plant it is.
Yeah. But I don't agree with that at all, no.
Yeah.
Because I think it's nice if children can learn, or call it the old-fashioned way if you like, but I think, because if everything's put in front of you, you can just press a button, then why bother to learn anything, really?
Yeah. Ellen says it's still worth learning stuff because it exercises the brain and stops your brain from decaying.
Definitely.
So you need to learn something, but the problem is you've got this phone that tells you everything. And then Justin, you were talking about AI. Maybe you want to just say again what you were saying about AI and this kind of, because we were also talking about maybe phones could actually supervise your you're going to get a jab.
Sorry.
Go on.
Have you got to go home?
Yeah.
All right, you go on home.
Yeah.
And I'll come over in a minute.
Go on, Justin. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was this
you go home.
news item on recently about AI.
Yeah.
They've now developed these. I can't remember the exact word they used. These robots that can facially scan you and decide if you're a terror threat. Yeah. And there's this. You're laughing, Doreen.
No, I'm laughing in a positive way. That's brilliant.
These things have now been developed by the military in the US and in Russia. And if you are a threat and you are looking like you're going to carry out an attack, these things will kill you.
Really? Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's a bit intense.
And what if they're wrong?
Well, exactly.
Oh, right.
There was a conference in Switzerland, I think, about the ethics of this.
Yeah.
And they had a word for it, lethal something. I can't remember exactly. It was like a euphemistic way of saying killer robot.
Is that recently?
Yeah, it was about 2 months ago on it was a conference. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, I think that's really, really terrible because exactly what's the kind of margin you know, getting something wrong, and also like, how do they know that someone's like evil or has got bad intentions? I mean, what do they scan for exactly? Is it some kind of flicker in your eyes? Is it like, what is it about?
Well, it's facial recognition. If you're on a database,
oh right, so it matches you with a database.
Yeah,
if you're already offended.
Yeah, if you're a known terrorist.
Oh, so if you're not on the database or a known terrorist.
Yeah. So it's not like reading your intention on your face. It's not it's not like going, this person looks like they
look a bit evil.
Yeah.
Let's kill them.
There's someone monitoring what you're doing. I mean, these things have a camera and they're looking what you're doing. And if you've got a backpack and you're heading to the underground, you are a person of interest.
Oh. I mean, today is the 20th anniversary of 9/11 as well. Just
yes, that's very sad.
Anyway, it's gone a bit morbid, but
you know, if these robots, or this, it's not really a robot, it's a computer, I suppose, could actually help us to prevent terrorism, is it maybe a good thing to actually embrace this technology? Does it actually have to kind of kill the person that's the suspect?
There's no easy solution, is there?
Yeah. Sure.
I think for me it's a question of who's in control of these technologies, because like, could we apply a similar technology, not obviously without killing someone, but could we apply that to politicians? You know, just to kind of, you know, that person has been inconsistent or told a lie 5 times.
Right.
They need to be removed from power. Okay, that would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but then they'd all have to be removed from power.
All right, well, give us a final thought before you go, Doreen, and thanks so much for joining me today.
And if you have any ideas for Cygnet Square as well, that would be really good. All of these things.
I've lived here for 49 years, and much as I didn't agree with what they were doing when they started, it's starting to be positive now. And I think you can do all sorts in this square. My favourite is Tai Chi.
Yeah.
You know, is it the Chinese people do it? Tai Chi?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, in a square, you know, all together. Yeah. And all age groups can do that.
That's a really good idea.
So, yeah, there's loads, you know.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything just offhand except that. But,
I mean, what do you think about just kind of combining those subjects? Should this square be looked over by surveillance robots that are actually, I mean, there is some cameras over there, to actually kind of, you know, make sure that people aren't doing bad things? Is that part of like a modern square?
No, not really.
No?
No, I don't think so. We got more cameras than any other country in the world or something, surveillance cameras, somebody said.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah.
Okay. You go on.
What's quite nice about this square is that some people's balconies kind of look out onto it. So in a way, it's kind of it's safety by design, you know.
Yeah, self-survey.
Exactly, that's what I think.
Yeah. Okay.
And I grew up on an estate that had like an open courtyard, and everyone's balconies kind of looked out onto the courtyard. So, you know, you could see everyone's balcony as well. So that way, they kind of designed it for it to. So it was like you're looking out for your neighbour in a way without really realising. I mean, so.
Yeah, they need to provide more for the young people.
Yeah.
Because they promise so much for, say, the teenagers, for instance, and all they've done is build a little play park there and a little one over the back. They took away a massive play park with fountains and paddling pools. I don't know if you knew all that, but from like when I moved here, fantastic. Taken all that away, and in each square there was a climbing frame or something.
Yeah.
Taken all that away. What they've replaced it with is great big open garden areas that no one's allowed to go on. They've taken away the open space the children had for their bikes and whatever. Yeah. And they've put a lot of planting in, but there's so much of it, and it's actually quite dangerous now because you've got that much space to walk through and back and forth. And you've got the bikes and the scooters and the prams and the kids.
Yeah.
So they haven't looked at the young population. They've let down the young population badly.
Okay, so a bit of a...
I've got to go.
Yeah. Thank you, Doreen.
come and join us. Have a chat in the microphone there.
Come and get involved.
Come and get involved. Come and take a seat. Lovely, lovely. Oh my, oh my. Yeah, so the question to you is, perfect. Amazing, wonderful. Do you go to the library? Talk into the microphone there.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Which library do you tend to go to?
So there's not really one near where we live. So like, I think it's the one in Erie.
All right then. Okay. So you go, and right now we're sort of, there's a new library that's opening up there, and everyone wants to know what makes a good library. You know, what makes a good library to you?
So to me, a good library is like so I think there should be like a place, so it should be separated in half, a part for just adults and a part for kids.
Why is that? Why should there be separate places for children and separate places for adults? Why?
Because if it's mixed together, then like it would kind of be chaos.
Have you experienced this, Margot?
Do you think that the grown-ups would just create too much chaos in the children's section?
Well, so like if it's just like mixed up, then it wouldn't really be quite nice.
Right. But so what other things makes a good library? Like, so you're saying separate places for children, separate places for adults. We're talking about what kind of things makes a good library. Let us know if you've been on the tour. What things would you like to see? If you were designing your own library, what kind of things would you like to see in there? Get involved in the conversation. What do you believe that adults should be? There should be a separate place for adults and children in libraries. What do you think? Get closer, talk into the mic. What do you think? That's this one, isn't it?
I suppose he's getting at the fact that it needs to be age appropriate. So different ages, different sections.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So you also believe that libraries should kind of be separate, a place for adults and a place for children. But what other things would you like to see there? You know, there's a new library here and they're trying to work out how they want it to be designed. If you were designing a library, what color would it be? What spaces? What books? Would there be books there? Would there be computers there? Would it have the internet? What would your library look like? And that goes to anyone. What would your library look like?
Yeah. Big selection of books, Rio. Computers, printers, photocopiers.
Like if children like need to go on a trip to like get their books and they need to do their homework, but they have too much time, like not really a lot of time on their hands.
Right, so maybe children, if they don't have much time on their hands, they need to be able to go somewhere where they can get the information that they need. Mikey, did you have a question?
I saw this talk by this person, kind of saying that in the future libraries don't actually need to have books, they just need a printer. And you just print, if someone asks for a book, you just print it out, and that way they can have access to all the books in the world. So, it means like, say someone wants to order a book, you just get it instantly.
Wow. So libraries will no longer need books, they will just need a printer. You know, it's so interesting. I recently got rid of my printer, so I'm not really sure how but I wasn't printing books with this printer, so.
Well, I mean, you could also read it on an iPad, but this was actually a library in Africa.
Okay.
Where people didn't have technology, but this mobile library went around. Instead of being a van full of books, it was a van full of with printer and internet access.
So maybe library. Let's get a final thought from you, Rio. Let's get a final thought about anything you'd like to leave us with. Oops, my bad.
Is it on?
It's on, yeah.
My final thought for the new library getting built is that there should be like a cafeteria.
Ooh. Nice.
Like if people want to read and like Yeah.
What kind of things would be in this cafeteria?
Like, for example, like sausage rolls.
Ooh, sausage rolls. Yum, yum. Coffee, tea. What kind of drinks? What kind of beverages? Ginger beer?
Yeah.
All right, so get a cafeteria in there. Yeah, what about Coca-Cola? What about Coca-Cola?
Earlier on we were talking about how Coca-Cola is advertised everywhere, but is it healthy? So should we have Coke in the library?
Should we have Coke in the library? What? I mean, what do we think of this? Does this library need a cafeteria? What would be in that cafeteria? You know, what would it look like? What kind of food? Sausage rolls, as Rio suggested. But yeah, wow. Where are you? I can see you on your bike there. Do we need to have bikes in the library? Do we need to have a library of bikes? Maybe.
No.
Oh, why not? Why not?
Because bikes aren't really like that. Like for reading, bikes are not for reading.
Ah, so bikes are not for reading. That's a good. Let's get a point from Justin. Which number is this? Oh,
thanks for my time.
Oh, that's number 1. Oh, thank you for your final thought, Rio. After you've cycled around, come back and let us know what you've seen. Let us know what you've been up to. All right, take care. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wonderful. Justin, I know you had a point there. Oh, no, that's okay. Well, no,
it's okay. I went to the toilet and I got a tour. I didn't actually ask for a tour. I got a tour. It's really quite remarkable.
It's this one, yeah, 1. Ah, it's not. Ah, perfect.
Yeah, you don't normally get to see a library and an event space before it's in use. So I think that was quite an unusual thing to see.
Ah, so I mean, how do you imagine it will look like? We've heard that from Rio around the table that he'd like to see a cafeteria in there where you can get sausage rolls. You know, bikes are not good for a library. But he also said there should be separate places for adults and children. So you know what, right? Would you be able to pass my jacket? Actually, I think I've decided that I'm gonna put my jacket on. Nice one. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I was in a library in the US. It was actually in Roswell, and I was amazed. They had a hamster and a rabbit in the library.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know. It was. I said to them, that's very unusual. You'd never see that in the UK.
Were people able to book it out? Was it something that you could hire out?
Well, no, it wasn't for loan. It was just there. The hamster was there in its cage, and then the children would, look at it. And but it was just such an unusual thing to see. You'd never get that here.
Do we need to start putting animals in libraries? You know? Is that what we need to start doing, Margot?
I like the idea of animals in the library. I'm sure there's some kind of like ethical considerations to do with it, but I think how people go into when people go to libraries or they read books to find out something. I think it's important to also learn from not just like reading text, but from different ways. So, for instance, in Thamesmead. So in Thamesmead, for instance, there are these horses, and I have seen them, but I wonder whether the idea of a library could be taken outside of the building as well, and the library could have like a pop-up venue around where the horses are or whatever, and maybe every month it's ever so slightly differently positioned.
How interesting. Should we take the library out of the building itself? And
also you can then take books to those places as well, so it could work both ways. I think last time people were saying about what would happen on the balcony of the library, whatever. Didn't we talk about something like a beach, beach where people could read books? I wonder if we can take books to where the horses are and just hang out there.
That's a good question. Do we need to bring the books to life through bringing making what's happening in the books a reality outside of the walls? Do we need to bring outside of the library in? Justin?
The impression I got from the architect was that it wasn't so much about books anymore. I mean, the term library clearly suggests that. It was more about a community hub, a community centre with computers for people to do their job searches and to have courses and so on. Because, I mean, in terms of reference books, there really isn't so much of a need for reference books now anymore. That's the impression I got, that that he was saying with the decline of retail in the high street, they could be thinking about these sorts of centres in the centre of towns. I just found that an interesting idea.
So you're saying that, from what you heard from the architects, is that libraries are now becoming a community hub.
Well, he was saying that they've always served that function, but with the funding of these sorts of centres in recent years, there is this need that is emerging. I mean, particularly in the post-pandemic Britain.
So, Margot?
Yeah, I mean, I find that also very interesting, that libraries kind of becoming like community hubs. And you mentioned earlier that people can use libraries for like job searches or whatever. Even though that's a very kind of functional thing to do, I almost wonder whether libraries could be, I don't know, like. This probably is not possible, but not be about work at all. Just like just be about leisure and just like enrichment and like learning about stuff. Because I feel like once you're a grown up, you are just so much stuck in like pursuing jobs. Everything is about like being productive, getting money, just surviving, whatever. We just almost don't have time to at leisure. Go and read a book, pick any book at random and just spend some time flicking through it, because just nobody has time. So
should libraries even be about work anymore?
Could you have a library of time?
A library of time. I mean, how do you imagine time going? Would it go quickly in there? Would it go slow? What would time look like? Would it pass like the usual clock? Mikey, yes.
Yellow one. Maybe you could borrow time in the library, and how much time would you borrow?
That's interesting.
And would you have to give that time back?
Wow.
Well, I think that's quite an interesting idea, a library of time.
A library of time.
It's the one commodity we're short of.
A library of time. That's really interesting. Have you been in the library? What about if we had a library of time where you could borrow time from the library? Come and let us know in the come and let us know on the mic. Come and let us know on the mic there. What's your name?
My name's Kim.
Kim, we got Justin, we got Mikey, we got Margot. And this is Talkaoke. Come and join us. This is Talkaoke. We're a pop-up talk show. Right now we're talking about the library. How do we want to shape the library? Do we need books in the library anymore? Is it more of a community hub?
No, it would have been nice if somebody had thought about the residents and not put a big LED light on the side of the building, because we live in this block.
So where is the LED light?
So we've had to, on the side of the building.
So what, this side?
Massive bright light on that side.
That side, okay.
Yeah, and we've had to invest in blackout blinds.
Oh, right. So you're saying that you as a local resident, there wasn't much consideration given to you when it comes to the light.
No, and then we've had to spend money on blinds, which we didn't have to do before. So there was been no thought, never mind about the books and the space.
Right.
It doesn't seem like any thought was taken when it came to the residents on that side.
Right. So some residents were kind of neglected when it came to, the design. They were neglected. Mikey, I see you got a point there.
I think we're just trying to be nice because the architects are around. But did they really consider the effect, I suppose, that it had on. What colour light is it?
It's a white LED light.
White LEDs.
White.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not about being nice. It's about actually thinking about people.
Yeah.
Not building a building to think, well, we've built this building, so this will go look good for our next project. You know, not a lot of consideration has been taken with the residents that have been living here, with the building, with everything that's been going on. It's been really been in.
So it's more about kind of like this is a flagship project rather than actually
that's
talking to the people.
Yeah. And that is happening a lot in the area with the development. So I'm moaning, but it's one thing being nice, and there's another thing being actually considerate about people. You know?
Yeah. I mean, what kind of changes have you been inside the building?
No, I haven't been inside the building.
You haven't been inside the building?
No.
Not yet. No. Justin, I can see you got a point there.
Absolutely fascinated by your using this term blackout blinds. That sounds like something from the war.
Well, the light is so bright. It's like almost like daylight in our flat, because our flat is right here on the fourth floor.
Wow.
So we've had to buy. You get blackout blinds. So
so you have to have it closed. Is this light on in the daytime? Or?
No, this is nighttime.
Right.
It's a very bright white LED light on the side of the building that is reflecting right into that building.
That does sound.
When you might not necessarily have your curtains closed, you have to close this blind in the evening.
Well, basically, yes.
Yeah. When you're trying to get to sleep, you've got to.
Yeah, we've had to buy blackout blinds.
Yeah. Mikey.
No, I was just going to say that I've got a black. I'm familiar with the term blackout blind because I've actually got one.
Does it help you get good night's sleep?
Yeah, definitely, because I like it to be completely dark, and I tend to go to bed really late, so I wake up late as well, and I want to sleep and pretend it's nighttime still.
I see. I mean, have these blackout blinds, have they improved? I guess they've improved your sleep in many ways.
Yeah, but we've had to pay for them.
Yeah, I mean, have you got the architects are here today? Have you got to speak to them about this?
No, we're going to though. I'm going to go into the next and have a word with them about it, because it was obvious that nobody took into consideration.
I mean, okay, if you were to design this library, what would it look like? I mean, apart from not having the LED lights, what other things would you have there? We've got a new face at the table. What's your name?
Well, I wouldn't.
Joanne. I was just asking. Sorry, can I grab your name again? Kim. If Kim wants to design this library, how would it look? Of course, the LED lights. You would not have LED lights facing your home. But what other things would you sort of consider when it comes to the design?
Oh, I wouldn't have had it such an awkward shape as well. Would have kept it more square, not so close. It's really close into the building.
Yeah.
It's quite obtrusive. It's blocking all the light as well. Besides that, we have no more light coming into our flat. I don't think consideration was taken for the first building that was built. That is only 5 stories. Whereas the rest are all 12 stories around.
So it's really interesting. There's a lot of talk about light. You've got synthetic light with the LEDs, and you talk about natural light here. How there's there's less natural light coming in. Now that these new high-rises are being built around you.
Yeah, and I've also found out that there was no survey done for the right to light.
Right.
What's right to light?
You have to have if you're building new buildings close in around other buildings, you have to have a certain amount of light that still comes into the flats, and no survey, and you're supposed to do a survey for that, but you can only complain about it or take the matter further once the buildings have been up for over a year.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I see. Justin?
What exactly is this light for from the building's perspective? Why is an LED light on the side of the building?
I don't know.
What's it for?
Yeah, what is the purpose? What's the purpose?
A massive LED light on the side of the building.
Mikey?
Yellow one. Okay. So we did a Talkaoke here about a month and a half ago, And some people were saying about the library. Come and get involved in this. What do you think about the library?
Yeah.
Let's do your job for me. Yes.
Let's get your opinion. Let's get your thoughts.
Some people
take a seat.
Some people were saying, oh, it looks a bit kind of. This library looks a bit square and kind of. Yeah, like a bit not very kind of exciting.
Yeah.
And then other people were saying, oh, but you've really got to see it in the night time when it lights up,
it looks
and that's when it's more exciting.
Yeah.
So I've never been here at night, so I've never had a chance to see it in the night time. But it seems that they were going to try and make it look exciting, but it seems in your case it's kind of like it's just light pollution for you.
Yeah.
No, most definitely it's fair enough that it's exciting, but when you live here, it's a completely different experience.
Is it too bright?
It's so bright you've had to buy blackout blinds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the architects were just telling me that actually the light's supposed to fade, like it's bright at certain times and then it's supposed to fade. So I will raise that with them because maybe that's an issue.
So tell us who you are and
okay.
What's your role? You seem to know quite a lot about this area. Tell us who you are, what you do.
Okay, so I'm Sarah Jane. I work for Peabody. I guess I work in the regen team, so it's the Thamesmead team. And I do a lot of kind of community engagement, stakeholder management stuff. Lots of outward. I am the friendly face.
Right,
I'm
I see.
supposed to be.
Yeah.
So lots of community engagement, lots of events, and just trying to just answer people's queries. So we get residents to come along and ask questions and stuff. It's usually me that will answer all the questions.
Yeah. And have you heard about this issue with the lights that Kim was talking about?
That's the first I've heard of.
That's the first, yeah. I mean, I suppose in a way we've been talking a lot about the purpose of the library. Has the purpose changed? We've also moved on to lights, synthetic lights, natural light. Kim was also saying that since these new high rises are being built, it's reduced the natural light that she's getting in her home. We got a new face at the table. Welcome. What's your name?
My name's Georgia.
Georgia, wonderful. So thank you for coming. We're currently talking about the library, things inside, things outside. So let us know any thoughts that come up for you. Mikey, I can see you got your hand up there.
Just because Kim's obviously got a problem with light pollution, but I've got a problem in my flat with noise pollution.
Right. Well, noise pollution is here as well. It's like an echo chamber here.
Right.
Yeah.
So what kind of noise pollution do you
what
have?
happened is they closed the roads, and there's a lot of van drivers that live in my road. And then, as I've already mentioned, I like to sleep late. And all these van drivers get up at 6 o'clock, and they all then reverse out of the road because they can no longer just drive because they've closed that end of the road. And so they all reverse out of the road. So at about sort of 6 o'clock, I've got all of these kind of bleeping vans. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
So that's your alarm.
As they go out past the and I find that really annoying. It wakes me up every day.
Maybe you also need some I don't know.
Some headphones.
Yeah.
Silicon plugs.
So I've just moved house, and our house is opposite a shop, and the shop has about 300 deliveries a day, and I have that exact same problem. So the shop opens at 6 a.m. and they deliver milk and bread at like 5:30.
Right.
And so I have that exact same.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, can anything be done about noise pollution?
Yes, they can build more planting would have absorbed the sound. Whatever the substrate they put on the floor, there could have been more absorbing of the sound. There's been no thought about the sound and the light.
So you say more nature could have helped to absorb some
and also
of the sound.
whatever they put on the ground.
Wow. So even the material has an impact on how sound is moved around spaces. I'm gonna get your point, Georgia.
Just hearing Mikey do that impression of a van, I feel like we need a sound effect of reversing. This vehicle is reversing. Please, I feel like we need one of them. But I'm just going to be devil's advocate here. How do we feel about people that move into, I don't know, say a place above a pub and then complain about the noise coming from the pub, and then subsequently that pub has to close down because of the noise complaint.
This is different. This is not.
I know it's completely different, but we're talking about noise pollution.
We lived here for a while as well. We bought our flat, so this is our home. You know, we live here. My partner's lived in the area for 25 years. I've lived here for nearly 9 years now. So there's a lot of change has been going on, and a lot of it hasn't been considerately done and thoughtfully done about the echo chamber, the lighting, the construction. We've had to fight with the construction company for a year to get them to start at 8 o'clock because that's the law. You know, so they were starting 7:30. They were delivering at 3 o'clock in the morning. They were, it took a lot of arguing and fighting to a whole year of chat to get it sorted out. Which is, so it's not about moving about. I understand what you say. It's not about that. It's just that. There wasn't a really good proper consultation done.
Over it.
So the local residents were not sort of being considered when it came to some of the design choices. Georgia, it does sound like you're talking from maybe an experience or a particular thing.
I've had quite a few experiences where a pub gets closed down, which is like the centre of a community, and it's because someone has moved in. It's completely different to living somewhere and then constructionists moving in. Someone will move in and then they get really irritated by the noise, and then they'll start a campaign to basically shut the pub down, and then eventually the pub has to shut down because they have so many noise complaints. I don't know where you go with that, because
there's also in Bexley there's the council have cut their funding so much there's nobody to even complain about. They don't have a noise complaint team anymore.
Oh wow.
So you can't even call the police. There's nobody to actually take charge of the situation. So what are you supposed to do?
You
can go on Twitter, you can go all over social media, and it doesn't make any difference.
Twitter does a good job.
Oh, okay.
Trust me, I'm trying.
Come and join us. We're talking about the library. We're talking about community hubs. How do you make a community hub for the community? How do you make it work for the community? The new people coming in, the old people that used to live here. What do we need to see in libraries? Justin, you had your hand up, did you?
Well, I was just curious about Mikey's street situation, because have they actually? Is your street now a low traffic zone? Because I just imagine or assume that when that happens, they put these planters there, that the street becomes quieter. I never have thought that it would have the opposite effect.
Right. I'm just going to grab a name from the new person sitting at the table. What's your name? If you say it in the microphone there. Sarah, did you say? Oh, welcome to the chat. We're talking all things library right now. Noise pollution, light pollution. Come and join us. Have a little bite of your sandwich around the table. Welcome. What's your name? Into the microphone. Merlin. Welcome, Merlin. Welcome. I'll do a little recap of some of the things we've been talking about so far since coming here. Earlier we were talking a lot about technology. Do we rely on technology too much? Do we still need to know our times tables? When you can just whip out your phone and find out what 9 times 56 is. If anyone knows what 9 times 56 is, then hey, good for you. And also now, do we need like a mobile phone in libraries? What do we need to see in the library? A cafeteria? Cafeteria that sells sausage rolls? What about the exterior of the library? Is this library too dull? Does it look dull? Is it appealing? Is it emitting too much light pollution? Can you actually read that it's a library? Is the sign legible? Is it a successful library? How do you want to shape the library? These are some of the things we've been talking about. So do chime in. Don't be shy. Any thoughts? Kim? Oh, Mikey?
I've forgotten what I was going to say. I'll go to Kim.
Kim?
There are currently quite a lot of community spaces in Thamesmead that aren't being used, so this is like an extra one now. So I feel that this one now might become the main, and all the rest of the other community spaces aren't going to be around Thamesmead, aren't going to be utilised, and not a lot of people know that there are quite a few of them about.
What other community spaces are there?
There's about 12.
What kind of things do they do?
Exactly. Across the whole of Thamesmead.
Yeah.
What's their purpose?
There's about 12 community. Yeah.
And what is their purpose? These other community spaces. Do they all serve the same purpose as this library might? You know? Oh, sounds like you have some things to say.
No, I don't know any other space for library space than the one. Yeah, the one outside there.
Yeah.
It seems like the focus now is going to be on using this as the main community space.
Right.
I don't think that's true. I think so basically I guess the community spaces, because there are so many, is about people don't have to go fast, they're more accessible. So for example, the atrium, which is over there, is quite out of the way, like it's not obvious unless you know it's there, but then obviously it's like, they do act like people run clubs, activities, Tai Chi, cooking, I don't know, people do different things, activities within those hubs. So yeah, I guess it's about having more means it's more accessible to people. But I understand your point that it feels somewhat underused, and it is maybe about knowledge, how much people know, people know that they exist and what the potential is for those spaces. I think.
Maybe working in with the library so the library can also use the space wherever you are in Thamesmead. There are these other
absolutely.
So you're saying there needs to be some connection between all of these community spaces. I'm going to bring Georgia in.
Why maybe you feel that they are not being used? Like, is there a reason, do you think? I don't know.
Nobody really knows about it. It's not publicised enough.
And are they doing any activity? Okay.
No, there's nothing being done because of COVID. Nobody really knows where they are situated. It's no map.
Okay.
It's not widely marketed and publicised as to where they are, what they can do.
Are they used?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think, but I think this is something that we recognise and are working on. So I don't know if you know, I've got loads of maps that I've been given out today that do actually show where all the community spaces are.
Wonderful.
So if anybody wants a map, please, I will give you some. I will give you some.
Fantastic. So there is I want to bring Mikey in.
Yeah. Well, earlier on, I think before most of the people were here, we were talking about the library and what a sort of modern library could be, and could it be a library of time? And I think the reason why those spaces are not being used is because people don't have enough time.
Right, so you're saying maybe people, it's not that people don't know, it's just that people don't have time.
Well, I mean, I just know, I don't live in this area, but in my area, there's a lot of people that want to do stuff in the community, but they're just overloaded with jobs and work and family, and they don't have enough time to do like voluntary stuff in the community.
I want to bring you into the conversation. Remind me of your name again. Merlin.
How can you forget an amazing name like that?
I saw you nodding your head before talking about the lack of knowledge of some of the community spaces. Any thoughts, anything you'd like to share? Speaking to the microphone there. If you just grab the mic.
It's the spaces, but it's also like things going on like this. So if you know this event's happening, then you can go to them. Like just with the Open House Festival or the Greenwich Docklands International Festival, if it's like happening that you can do, that is also as important as an event space or like because then you go there and you see your neighbours and your friends there. Usually, often it's free. Do you see what I mean? So I think that's really important. I haven't been in the library yet. But
So you're saying spaces like this are important because it's a way that people get to see their neighbours, get to catch up with their friends. How did you find out about the event today?
Well, I've come here for some of the tours, for the open house ones.
Open house tour.
And then I was just asked to be on the table. I really like the table. You should be in the library. Every time people go to the library, this table should be here. That would be the.
So you're saying this is something that should be in the library, a permanent fixture.
Yeah, with your interactive show.
Well, definitely follow us on the socials where the people speak. This is Talkaoke, #Talkaoke. And do you live locally? Do you live in this area?
No, I wish I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I live in Tooting, so I travelled here for the educational experience.
So I mean, what is it about this area that you like so much?
Just the fact it's in the Open House Festival. which is something that I'm involved in. So I'm here to be part of the tours and check them out, and the fact that it's a really important bit of London, but not often that you get to come here because you don't always have a reason to come here. So if there's an event going on, then everybody feels like they can be part of whatever's happening.
I mean, what are some of is that something that maybe people should be promoting in the library? What are some of the significant areas of this Thamesmead? Is that something that should be in the library maybe? Yeah,
there's cultural history like films, music, and you could have events here that celebrate that.
So celebrating the rich heritage of Thamesmead. I want to bring Joanne into the conversation. Any thoughts about anything we've been talking about today? I mean, I know you were at our last Talkaoke 6 weeks ago, right here in Thamesmead. Anything changed for you? Anything been revealed? Have you had a chance to go into the library?
I did the tour of the library last time you were here.
Yeah.
A few months back, wasn't it? And I've been to the show flats. Now these ones are a bit bigger than my one because I've just got one bedroom flat and I just live in the flats there. So they're so different. It's just, they've improved.
Okay, so these flats they've improved on the ones that you live in? Yeah? In what ways have they improved?
They're sort of bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah. But I mean, I've only got one bedroom flat. But
Sorry. Yeah. So there's been a lot of come join us. Oh, okay, hey, yeah. Ooh, give us a final thought before you leave us.
Well, personally, I'm really excited to see how the library pans out and how, once it's fitted out as a library and we can really, work on our marketing and get lots of people in there. I'm excited to see it in action.
Yeah, get Talkaoke a permanent fixture in there.
I'm going to give you all some naps as well.
Yeah, perfect. Wonderful. Any final thoughts from yourself, Kim?
Just a bit more social cohesion and a lot more marketing and letting people know in the community what's going on. Lots more leaflet droppings in all the post boxes. Maybe a monthly newsletter so that people know what events are going on. Thank you.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of good stuff going on in Thamesmead, but you have to be in a kind of a little clique to know about it.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say because
if you're talking to the microphone.
Actually knew about this program through the Peabody newsletter. The promotion, So I'm thinking.
Thank you. Let's know how it all goes.
So I'm thinking the awareness, like they were talking about other community. I don't know about other, but if there's a promotion, maybe the library can help because I know the library will be having a newsletter that can promote the activities going on. I think that would be really great.
Yeah, so you're saying you found out about this through the Peabody
newsletter, yes.
And how did you receive this newsletter? Was it printed? Was it through the internet?
No, it was just through the emails.
Okay, through the emails. Okay, that's interesting. We got a new face at the table. What's your name? So we got Mohammed Kaiser?
Yeah.
Perfect. Mohammed, any thoughts about what we've been talking about? I know you were sort of listening in on the peripherals there. Any thoughts about the library? Any thoughts about...
Do you want me to hold it?
Wow. Yeah, and any thoughts about... So maybe I'll give a recap, actually. We've been talking quite a bit about the library and what people want to see in there, what the purpose of the library actually is today in 2021. I mean, what about the area? Is there enough sort of cultural hubs? Is there too many? What kind of things do you want to see happening in there?
Thanks for giving me a chance. I live in the building, Staple House Court. About my opinion about the library being right at your doorstep is, I think, a great opportunity. We have had for many years, over a decade now, a crisis with our library. There used to be an old library there, which is demolished now.
Yeah.
Then we had a temporary one at the end of the near the lake.
Yeah.
The end. And now having this is not just a library. I believe there's a function hall there as well, and lots of other activities there. I think that's a great opportunity for the local residents, people like us who live here, for our children. It's going to be a great facility, and it's it looks. I haven't been able to see from inside, but by the looks of it, it seems like it's going to be a beautiful building, and fully equipped with all the latest technology and all the facilities, which will be a great opportunity to benefit from it. And yes, a little concern about it. Why is it taking so long before it opens up? I mean, we've seen this the structure, the building. Apparently it looks like it's all ready, but God knows what's going inside and what is taking so long.
I suppose in a way that's a question for the local council. Sarah, we've got a question. We've got a question from a local resident here. He loves the library. He thinks it's so great that there's a library on his doorstep. It's beautiful. So he wants to know why it's taken so long to open up. In his eyes, it's taken a long time to open up.
No, I agree. It is. The top section is managed by Peabody, and that's all ready to go. But there was some delays with Bexley Council with the library service, so they are now fitting the bottom part of the library out. So it's just been delayed. So while the top is pretty much opening soon in terms of community space, the bottom will be opening early next year. But I agree. It's taken a while. I think because there's Peabody and Bexley Council, there's been a lot of sort of toing and froing, if you like. But now the contractors are in on the bottom, so fingers crossed, another few months it will be open.
So another couple of months.
Early next year.
So 2022 is where everything's going to happen in 2022. Okay, I mean, that answers your question. I mean, what do you think about, so you live over there. We had a resident who also lives over there called Kim. She was saying that, she doesn't like the fact that there's a lot of light pollution that comes into her house. There's some LED lights at the side, and she says that she's had to buy blackout blinds to stop the lights from going in. Have you experienced this? Is it something that you've experienced? Is there a lot of lights coming from this building at night time? Oh, there's not.
From where I live, off the balcony, and there's no light pollution coming towards that.
Right. Okay. So in your opinion, there's not really any light pollution.
Light pollution is from the cranes at night.
So you get light.
The yellow ones, they've got a big light on top, and that's where the light pollution is coming from.
So I mean, it sounds like this area is battling quite a lot. It's battling noise pollution. It's battling light pollution in many different forms. Whether that's from the cranes, whether that's from the building. I mean, Margot.
Thamesmead, Peabody wants to kind of find out who, from the local residents, who would want to be involved in more of a kind of steering committee type of group. To have influence on what gets, what happens in the square, what happens in the area. And I wonder whether that's one way in which we can kind of ensure that things are happening, no one gets, left behind in a way. There was somebody earlier talking about, young people and teenagers and tiny children. They're very, very distinctly different age groups, and they need different kinds of things. But,
That's interesting, this conversation about having like a group of local residents kind of steering the direction of how the area is going to develop over time. Any thoughts about this, Mikey?
No, I just wanted to come back on the idea of noise pollution, because I read this book and it said that in India, noise is actually much more accepted, that people actually, if there's a noise, it's up to you as a person to not be annoyed by it, not up to the person making the noise. So there's much more of an emphasis on you. You've got to be kind of chilled out in order to not be disturbed. And I'm wondering if we're kind of like, we need to adopt more of that kind of attitude, because we live in a big urban city with millions of people. Inevitably there's going to be noise, there's going to be vans reversing and all this kind of stuff. Is it more up to us to actually go, you know, like for example, there's a noise coming here, but it's just, you know, it's actually intended to be, to give a positive, positive environment,
Right. That's a really interesting. I'd like to know what book that is actually. Georgia?
Yeah, I think that was the kind of point I was trying to make with the pubs earlier, like, you know, but I completely forgot what I was going to say. I'm liking this concept of not getting annoyed by noise, because we are living in a big city.
Has there been any times where you've had to you've been irritated by noise pollution and you've had to be like, you know what?
So I used to do a lot of night shifts.
Hey, come and join us, come and take a seat.
Welcome. I used to do a lot of night shifts, so I had to get used to like living and sleeping through like just day-to-day noise. And so I used to use earplugs. And like, so now whenever anyone's like, so say my flatmate knows that she's going to be making noise, I try and not get annoyed by it, because I know that I can sleep with earplugs.
So you've learned how to kind of adapt to sort of this way of living, of noise.
I remember what I was going to say. And then, so I've been to quite a few of these Talkaokes, and a lot of people always say, oh, we need more music, we need more like, you know, things, activities, which are going to make a lot of noise. But then on the other hand, we're also saying we don't like the noise. So it's like you can't really win. So that's why I like Mikey's point of like, maybe we just need to live with the noise. I don't know.
To live with it.
You can challenge me if you like.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, but there's a new face at the table. What's your name?
I'm Maurice Bradley.
Boris Bradley?
Maurice Bradley, yeah.
Okay, let's get a final thought from you, Sarah. Okay, I think Sarah will be back.
What happens here? Is this recorded or what?
This is Talkaoke, it's a pop-up talk show. You can talk about absolutely anything, but right now we're just talking about this area. You know, we're talking about the library. What is the purpose of libraries? Do we need to sort of really think about how we can use this space and make it benefit the community? Do we need to bring what happens in books outside? Do we need to bring the outside in? Do we need more horses in the library? You know, do enough people know this library exists? Is the architecture of the library actually serving or useful for the community? What about creating like a group of people from the local area who has a say in how this area kind of shapes for the future? We're talking about noise pollution, we're talking about light pollution, so a bunch of things. So do you have any thoughts about anything, any of these points?
Well, my wife and I have lived here since 1974.
Sorry. And whereabouts have you lived?
Well, we just along here by the in Penton House we started.
Yeah.
And then when our firstborn came along, we moved over to Stage 3, Area 3. And from there back to Hartslock Drive. And now we live over at Broadwaters.
Okay then.
So our kids have got their roots here. And you're talking about libraries, they're absolutely vital, I think. And I don't know about the architecture yet, because we're doing a tour in a minute. So we'll find out about that. But
I mean, can you give us somebody around the table was living in Tooting, and he said that, you know, he's part of this open house festival and he's learned so much about the area today, and he'd love to live here. You know, so I'm wondering, you know, since you've been living here since the 60s, you said?
Since
the
74,
you said. What are some of the things that people who don't know anything about this area should know?
Well, we've seen a lot of changes, obviously, over 40 odd years. Some good, some bad. But generally, I mean, we've been up to one of the a couple of the flats up there, and they're beautiful. And I hope they will stay that way, quite honestly.
Right. Okay.
But somebody said about noise. I mean, sooner or later they're going to say no ball games, no cycling. And I can understand that.
Okay, so you can kind of understand the sort of the cutting back on some of the...
It's a factor, you know.
Yeah. So you're saying noise pollution, has it been an issue for you living here in Thamesmead?
Where we're living now, we live on the top floor of a low-rise flat, block of flats, and they call it the penthouse. Very nice. Oh. But it is a two-bedroom flat.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, it's right over the flight path of the city airport.
Right.
So it gets really noisy. But you know, the windows are double glazed. You can shut the noise out to a degree.
Yeah. So do you feel that you've learned to live with the noise?
Yeah, I think it's people not really being socially minded.
Right.
And you know, people like, for instance, if somebody's coming home and they toot their car hooter as they're coming in, just to let everybody know they're coming home. That sort of thing that's education, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
right. So maybe there's not enough education about how to live with other people. Is there enough education when it comes to knowing how to live in a sort of cosmopolitan place, Justin? I know you've had your hand up.
It's definitely you have to make allowances here. Mm-hmm. It is a different way of life.
Yeah.
And it can be really good. Depends how you get along with people, actually.
Yeah.
But we know all our neighbours.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody else wouldn't be like that.
Right. Okay.
Maybe somebody else would want to go inside, you know, their place and shut the door and shut the world out. But
you know, it's interesting that we did this Talkaoke 6 weeks ago right here, and we were talking a lot about how do people talk to their neighbours enough? How do you get to know your neighbour? Because there was a lot of people who's moved into the area. So, I mean, you know your neighbours. Maybe you could share some tips with us. Let us know how the tour is. We haven't been inside yet, so we want to hear how it looks in there. Join us on the way out. Thank you very much for your time. All right, Justin.
I think, Mikey, you need to decide, are these vans in the morning annoying you, or are you going to adopt the Indian approach?
Yeah, that's the thing. That is the thing. Yeah, I mean, what say you? What are you going to do? Oh, sorry.
I'm going to try to love those vans and actually, you know, just learn to love the van, learn to love that beeping in the morning. You know, in a way, we hear that van's reversing, and some of them have got this kind of like squawky sound, like a...
Oh, wow.
And it's a little bit like a crow. So they're all like different birds singing at different tones. So I should really be seeing it or hearing it more as bird song, as like artificial bird song.
Yeah. City bird song.
Good luck with that, Michael. Yeah.
I'm loving this city bird song idea. I have to say I do understand Mikey's frustrations, because I know that Hackney Council, they didn't really ask people about these low what are they called again? These low admission roam. That's it. They just implemented them in the middle of lockdown last year. They didn't ask anyone. So I can see why it's quite a big frustration. So yeah.
So it seems like today there's a lot of talk about just a lack of consideration from maybe the architects to the councils when it comes to the community.
I mean, this is more about Hackney, so it's not now relevant, but they did actually, I'm part of the chair of the local residents committee, and they did ask us, so we said no, and they did it anyway.
Right, okay, so sometimes they might have these groups, and then So, I mean, why did they ask you? Why do you think they asked?
Because they wanted us to say yes. They were desperate. They were really trying to force us to say yes. And we're like, no, we don't want this.
I mean, is there more that you as a...
So I think that also that adds to the annoyance that they kind of impose. I'm half annoyed about that fact that they did it against our wishes.
Yeah. I mean, is there more that you could have done as a committee?
Probably. I actually ran out of time and didn't have enough time to.
So you needed a library of time where you could borrow borrow time. Let us know what you think. Yeah, okay. I mean, any thoughts about anything we've been talking about today so far? Anything you'd like to share?
So if you don't want to live next to a building site, move somewhere else. Simple as that. It's a building site. You're going to set noises on Saturday morning. I don't hear any of it, but I'm not here all day because I don't work. But I'm just saying, if you don't want to live next to a building site, don't move here. Move somewhere else and then move over here. I know it's a little stressful being moving everywhere, but you know, you're next to a building site. What do you expect to hear?
Right.
It's all this building. It's taking so long though. I mean, they've been doing it since, what is it, 2018 they started?
Yeah.
Or something like that. But it's a building site. You've got to accept the noise. So if you don't want to have the noise, just don't live here. Sort of thing.
Right. So you're just saying simply, if you can't take the noise, don't live here. But what about what that gentleman said about the fact that, you know, his children, they kind of have roots here. So if you've got roots in a place, if there's noise pollution or light pollution, should you just pick up and leave? Margot? Okay.
I was talking to Gabriel over there. He's kind of sorry, that fell apart. But he was saying that he's one of the builders working on the construction. He's doing the balconies and stuff. And he was saying something. I didn't realize this. He said that apparently he reckons that the reason why they put the holes in the library, the exterior bit, is so that the wind can blow through it. And it's more, you know, it doesn't put pressure on the construction. So it's actually quite clever. I thought it's just purely for, you know, for it to look nice, but actually it's about wind just going through it and not destroying the construction. Hello, we're just talking about gosh, what are we talking about?
Yeah, come and join us. Have you had a tour of the library? You know, I did see that a tour went in about 5 minutes ago, so I think
maybe there's a next
throughout
one.
the days. Yeah, I think they're having tours throughout the day. Have a seat. Let us know what brings you to the area.
To go up and see.
Yeah, I believe the tour kind of. But I think there's a few different ones throughout the day. We're talking about the library. We're talking about the purpose of libraries, what people want to see in libraries. We're also talking about this area. Yeah. And is there too much noise pollution now? Is there too much light pollution? Are you from the area?
I live in Woolwich myself.
Have a little sort of, speaking to the mic.
Because it was the last tour, I'd like to see.
Oh, is that the last tour?
Them. Yeah.
Fair enough. Let us know how it is. I want to find a bit more about Woolwich as well. But you know, on that point about balconies, recently I actually have glass panels on my balcony, and 2 of them in the space of a year, just around the whole development, have fallen down. Oh, let's get a final thought from you, Mohammed. Any final thoughts? About just about anything.
About the noise pollution, as we were talking earlier.
Yeah.
Personally speaking, and to be honest, I have had no issues with that particular problem.
Yeah.
Other than what everyone living in such a big city would have. For example, early morning flights going over your head, and you know, but obviously that's beyond everyone's control. We got to live with it. And other than that, I have never had any issue with that particular issue. And you rose a point earlier on about the courtesy and decency.
Yeah.
I think when you live in this crowded situation, I would call multi-story buildings and things like that, I think everyone should. You did a point towards that. You did drop a hint towards that direction. That yes, there should be some sort of training or education or awareness given to all the local residents, including children and teenagers and grown-ups, to be courteous and think about others.
Okay. What things would you want people to sort of? What things should people learn about? Being courteous of other people. Like, what would you write in this handbook about how to live with others? What things would you?
I think it's just putting yourself into other people's shoes and feel how would you feel if someone was being unsocial or behaving in an unsocial manner. How would you feel? For example, if you had baby in your home and the people living upstairs above you, they are jumping and thumping and banging the walls or floor, then how would you feel? And I think you should think the same way about the other residents. That's all about being courteous about the others. And it's just a mutual respect. It's giving others respect and wanting, doing for them what you want for yourself. So it's just a matter of decency. I think, there's no harm in getting a bit of training, go to a session every now and on, maybe once a month. Once a month with the children, once a month with the parents, grown-ups, and just asking them to be civilized and be just gentlemen and be gentle and respectful to your neighborhood, to your neighbors, to the people who live above you, underneath you, on the left, on the right. So I mean, there's no harmony. I think.
That's interesting. Maybe those classes could take place in the library. You know what I mean? Maybe those sessions could take place in the library. Maybe you might want to teach some of these sessions. You know, you might want to teach some of these things in the library. You know.
I suppose some professional could do it better than I could. But what I'm saying is that we shouldn't be hesitant in getting or attending such sessions. Like some people might think, oh no, I'm not a little kid in my babies, why should I listen to that kind of crap or nonsense or useless things? But I think no. It's there's no harm in getting a bit educated on these everyday issues. These everyday issues.
So I suppose education, you're saying, doesn't stop from when you're a child. Hey, welcome back. And yes, I remember you were talking a lot about nature the last time. Remind us of your name. Yes, your hair looks different. Sinab, yeah? Inam. Let me get the microphone. Inam. Yeah, that's it.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back. Well, we're closer to the library this time. We're talking. Oh, Mike. So we're talking a lot about the environment, the community. Mohammed was saying that education doesn't stop from when you become an adult. You don't stop learning how to live in environments like this.
So say you want to become someone like Einstein, you have to always go learn. Even though you're an adult, you stop school, you still study, still do science, still learn about stuff.
So even Einstein, he never stopped studying, he never stopped learning.
Yes, he never.
Even as an adult. Mikey?
Is there any point in trying to be Einstein when he's already discovered like the theory of general relativity and reconceived how the universe is? We now know that. Is there any point in like being Einstein now that all of that is kind of in the library already?
What is general relativity?
General relativity is basically a physical theory that builds on Newton's theory of gravity. Because the issue with Newton's theory of gravity is like, how does one object, let's say the sun, gravitationally attract the Earth when it's millions of miles away from it and it's got no obvious connection with it? And Newton didn't know the answer to this question, and basically Einstein came up with the answer to this question in that what he proposed is that mass itself warps space-time, and actually these objects are actually going in a straight line through a warped space-time. So that's how gravity works, that the Earth revolves around the sun because it's the shortest path through space-time. I think Joanne is going.
Joanne, let's get a final thought from us. If you talk into the microphone.
Did I blind you with science there, Joanne?
You're like Mikey's like an encyclopedia. Anything you want to leave us with, Joanne? And anything you'd like to leave us with? Yeah, and oh yes, I know we got a final thought from you. Yeah. Oh yes. Perfect. Great. Well, see you soon, Mohammed. See you soon. Thank you. Georgia?
So how do people feel about gravity? Because I've had a really clumsy day today. I've dropped 5 things already this morning.
What things?
And I dropped a plate, smashed it. Then I dropped my broken phone down the stairs.
Oh.
Then I dropped my actual phone when I was having breakfast. And I dropped my car keys quite a few times. So I'm having a bit of a day of a battle with gravity.
Right.
And I just wanted to ask, do other people like have days where they just gravity is defying them and it's making a real presence in your day?
That's a very interesting. So you're saying you're really experiencing gravity right now. So Gravity Day. Justin?
I'm just wondering, Georgia, this seems like an extraordinary, unfortunate series of events. Is it perhaps symptomatic of something else that's going on in your life that you're thinking about subconsciously? Perhaps?
Right.
But
yeah.
I tried to put a positive spin on it and blame it on gravity and make some fun out of it.
Yeah. Inam?
Gravity wouldn't be in this world, like we wouldn't be alive. Because gravity is like what holds the building together. Like say there was no gravity, that building will fall, that building. The construction workers will fall, everything will fall, and then we'll all die.
So if there was no gravity, I mean, we just wouldn't exist this way.
No, we wouldn't.
We would.
Neither dinosaurs.
I mean, can we lose gravity? Is gravity something that we can lose? I mean,
yes, you can use gravity.
I mean, Georgia was saying that
you can use gravity for life, like if you don't have gravity, then you're dead. If you do have gravity, you're not dead. It's simple.
If you don't have gravity, then you're dead. Georgia?
I just wanted to ask if we definitely need gravity to be alive, or would it just be a different way of living? Like, would all the buildings be floating? You'd have to make all these buildings really soft. And I mean, would that be something that we could just do anyway? Like, make all the buildings soft so that if they float around.
Do we need gravity to live? Do we need gravity to live? Do we need gravity to live? Do we need gravity to survive?
I mean, we might eventually need to live underwater, and there's no real gravity there, or it's a bit different, the relationship with gravity and water, isn't it?
What is the relationship with gravity and water? That's a question.
I don't know.
Mikey?
I mean, I think it's more something if we went to space, so we wouldn't not have gravity, but we'd have what was called microgravity. If we went to space, where we've got very, very little gravity, but the same laws of physics still apply in space. It's just there's no very heavy objects like the Earth near us. And there is a question, how can we survive without gravity? Because you actually need gravity to grow. So if you were born in space and you grew up without gravity, your bones wouldn't get long. So you'd end up to a very sort of stumpy, round person.
Yeah. Wow, how would we look if there was no gravity? Margot?
I don't have the answer to this question, but what you just said made me think of the famous experiment. It's a mind experiment, it's not a real one. And by the way, this is Talkaoke, guys. Come and get involved. Talking about gravity right now, but we can go absolutely anywhere with this.
Can we live without gravity?
But there was a mind experiment one of the philosophers proposed. His name was Avicenna, I think, and he said about a man living. I think it's the flying man experiment, where he said, just imagine being suspended in the air in such a way that none of your body parts touch each other.
Gravity in action.
Speaking of gravity
in action.
So you wouldn't know what your body is, and you'd be suspended in complete darkness. So you can't see, you can't feel. So do you have body? Do you do you have a... Yeah, I mean, no, not body. What was it about? It was what constitutes you? Is it your body or is it your mind? That was the question.
Is it your body or is it your mind? Inam, let's get a final thought from you.
What makes you you? We can't... If we live with gravity, everything's fine, everything's fine.
perfect. If we don't live with gravity, we can't lift ourselves up from the ground. We have to at least be like, it will be like you'll stay short for the rest of your life. You need to grow. Gravity is what makes you grow.
So is it gravity that makes you grow?
Okay.
That's really
I never
interesting.
ever thought about that.
Is it gravity?
It's one of the factors.
It's one of that push and pull thing.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
You know,
you need to have that push and pull. That's why in the International Space Station, obviously you've got fully grown humans in the International Station, but they have to do a lot of exercises to keep that keep their bones in order, because there's no gravity to actually make that happen.
Justin?
Just picking up on something you said, Margot, about do we have a body? I once did one of these VR experiences. Where I was moving through this this kind of environment, kind of flying through this environment, and I looked down and I didn't have any body. I was just a head.
Oh wow!
There was nothing where my body is. I was just a head flying through this thing. It was extraordinary.
Wow.
So
maybe we don't always need a body. Maybe it's not always necessary. Georgia?
Maybe that's what we need to do, like utilize the VR and AI stuff to see what we'd be like without gravity. And I imagine that the space stations must be using all that kind of stuff and everything. But I just like what Margot was saying, like in terms of like, how would you exist if like you can't see anything and your body parts are not touching? And then that's very philosophical, which I guess he was a philosopher, the person you were talking about. And that's the kind of, is this existence of a soul, I guess. Like, does your soul exist if you don't have gravity? I don't know, like,
I mean, you know what? I know
we're asking big questions, aren't we?
You know, I was just watching like a video about 9/11 this morning, and it's got me thinking about that soul, you know, and you know, that kind of thing. Justin.
Georgia, surely the soul is weightless and therefore it's not subject to gravity. The soul has no weight. It's an ethereal thing, and therefore it's not subject to gravity.
I mean, what is the soul? What is the soul?
Okay, yeah, really nice food.
Yeah. What is our soul? What is our soul? And anyone know? Anyone have a thoughts about this? You know? Oh no, yes. Oh yes.
I've got a bit of a scientific approach to this, and I think in a way a soul is information, so like it's not necessarily the way information is arranged can change depending on, you know, it doesn't have to belong to a particular physical content. So you could take away the actual physical element and the information would still be there. So it's almost like a pattern. It's an imprint, let's say. That could be one way to describe a soul.
It's an imprint. It's a collection of information. Justin?
So does the soul then live on after we die, Mikey?
Does the soul live on after we die?
Well, I would change it to me more like, does a person actually live on after they die? And in my experience of people that I've known that have passed away, they do live on in memory, in records, in people, you know, dreaming about them as well. So I think, yes, that imprint does live on after you die. But I think obviously it fades away as those records and those memories become less relevant.
Georgia?
It's making me think of the children's film Coco, if anyone's watched it.
No, tell us about it.
So it follows the story of a Mexican little boy who somehow ends up in the afterworld, and on the Day of the Dead in Mexico, and he makes friends with this, I don't know, he's a vagabond and he doesn't have any family, and the whole concept is that you can still live your life in the afterworld as long as your family dedicate a memory to you every year on the Day of the Dead.
Oh, right.
And the whole thing is he meets this guy who's slowly fading away because... Yeah, come and join.
Yeah, this is part of open house. Yeah, this is part of open house. You know, on that moment, I feel like I'm open right now for some water. So I've got somebody's holding a water for me over there. So I think I'm gonna go and get that water. I might get that beverage as well. Get some food as well. Yeah. Ah, perfect. I think also. I think it will coincide with when I don't know when that tour's ending. Is that library that big? Oh my god.
I think
they've been there a bloody long time. All right, cool.
People still waiting.
All right.
Lots of talking. I might get some of this jerk chicken. If you're gonna go, will you find out if they accept cards? They do. For afterwards or for now?
What's that?
For afterwards or for now?
Well, I can eat and talk at the same time, but there's people coming up. Let's get this road on the show.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a continuous...
It is a continuous train of chat here. We can't let the chat stop. It might be a little trickle of a fountain of chat, but Justin, you want to just come in straight away? Go on, Justin.
Well,
yeah.
Mikey, you say that the person lives on in the memory of their loved ones and in things they've left behind.
Yeah.
Books and music and if they've letters perhaps. But is there any? But the actual life force of that person, the imprint, is any of that continue?
Well, I mean, I don't know the answer to that, and now I'm in the middle of the table. I can't really, I can't really give my opinion anymore because it's about what people think around the outside. But looks like Ellen's going to take up. Come and join in. What makes you you is what we're talking about at the moment, and maybe we could also relate it to Thamesmead. What makes Thamesmead Thamesmead as well? But anyway, let's. Look like Ellen, you wanted to answer that question that Justin posed.
So remind me of the question.
Well, it was more like we were talking about. Really, this all comes from what makes you you.
What makes you you?
What makes you you? And when I was on the outside, I was talking about this idea that you are just a set of information that is kind of like leaves an imprint on human society, and that's essentially your soul living on in a certain way.
When I was walking through Abney Park Cemetery, which is in Hackney, I was just looking and reading.
Back to Hackney again.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'll bring it back to Thamesmead. Well, it's in London, Abney Park Cemetery in London.
It's probably part of open house as
exactly, and I was just looking at all the people who had passed away and reading them and thinking, wow, all of these people had such full lives. But anyway, sometimes I think there's a lot of pressure to kind of become something and sort of leave behind a legacy and a memory,
a mark,
and not just kind of like exist. And what if you are a person who's living in this world, and you're not going to leave on a legacy? What it can that can feel quite depressing.
What do you think, Ellen?
What do I think? I think that I don't really know. I think I'm just sort of gathering my thoughts about this.
Okay, all right. Well, you've certainly raised a couple of hands. Georgia, you go first, and then I'm going to move it on to...
oh, God. I was going to say, when you were asking the question, is it Justin? About what makes you you. And I actually think what makes someone themselves is when they're not thinking about who they are. Like when they're just being and when they're just existing, the same as sort of what
So in a way, the opposite of this Abu Senna thought experiment. It's actually when they're not thinking about who am I. It's actually when they're just doing their thing and just existing.
And I think a lot of people struggle not to try and think about.
Are we overthinking
all the time? Yeah.
We're overthinking who we are. So the answer to what makes you you is you're overthinking it. Okay, Justin, back to you.
Yes, we all have this continuous...
Hang on, Justin. Yep. Come and have a seat on the table of chat. We've got Justin, we've got Ellen, we've got Margot, we have got Georgia and Mikey. What's your name? Latifa. Okay, you got a mic now. Come on, get involved in this. What makes you you? That's what we're talking about at the moment. Come on, and we've got Latifa. What's your name? Solomon. And who? What's your name? Asiya.
Lovely
What?
to meet you. Oh, Asiya.
Asiya, that's what I said, isn't it? Okay, no, anyway, because I turned it down. Anyway, we're talking about what makes you you. That's what we're talking about at the moment. And does it really matter? Are you mostly being you when you're not thinking about what makes you you? That's where we are right now. Any thoughts right now, or do you want to just listen in on this conversation? Listen in, okay. Justin, you had a point about this.
Well, I was just thinking, we were talking about, are we overthinking? But we can't stop ourselves. We have an interior monologue.
Yeah, we
have our stream of consciousness that's going on all the time. We can't ever turn that off.
We can't turn off the thinking. We're always thinking. Okay, yeah, go on, Ellen.
I find it so annoying thinking all the time, you know?
Yeah.
I'm
so it's a bit like those vans reversing. It's like, it's really annoying you. Boop,
you know what, I mainly sort of, I was thinking about this the other day, because I mainly, you know, I kind of live by myself in a way.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I don't want to live by myself anymore. I need somebody in this house so I can stop thinking about everything.
Just thinking all the time.
I'm so sick of thinking. If there's a way to turn off your thoughts, I know meditation, it can help, you know, you can observe the thoughts instead of really, but I just, is there a way to stop thinking?
Okay, well, that's an interesting point. Can we stop thinking? Oops, sorry, that's the wrong button. I meant to do this one. Solomon, come to me here. Well, you're on mic 3, so let me just turn that one up. Yep, go on. Go on, Solomon.
You can't stop thinking.
You can't stop thinking. But, okay, I mean, I think everyone agrees that, but is it annoying that you can't stop thinking sometimes?
Not too annoying.
It's not too annoying. Okay. And do other people get annoyed about it? Or is...
Some people do.
Yeah, go on, Latifa, what are you going to...
I do sometimes, like when I'm at school.
Yeah.
Always you're thinking, because if you don't think, you won't like get the question right. I'm always thinking about what happens if I get the question wrong. What's gonna happen? What's the bad things about it? Like, I think that like I did something bad and I didn't study enough.
Yeah. So you're continually worrying that you've done something bad. Have I got it wrong? And that could, in a way. Does it get in the way? Is that what you're saying, Latifa?
It doesn't get in the way, but it just has me thinking sometimes like what would happen or stuff like that.
Okay. What do you think, Asiya? Do you think, are we thinking too much? Is it just what we do as human beings? Go on, grab the mic.
I think that sometimes you overthink.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you overthink, then you just feel like you're gonna get the answer wrong or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So it is often about getting things wrong that we're overthinking. Have I got this wrong? And maybe it's also, you know what, Ellen, come. This is Talkaoke Pop-Up Talk Show. We're just trying to find out what people think, but are people thinking too much? Are we overthinking everything? That's what we're talking about at the moment. Do we just think too much about everything? We have got Latifa, we've got Solomon, we've got Asiya, we've got Margot, we've got Justin, we've got Georgia now on camera, and my name's Mikey. What's your name?
My name's Jamila.
Jamila, welcome. Do we think about stuff too much? These young people are keep worrying about, have I got it wrong? Have I got the answer wrong? Have I got it right? Have I got it wrong? Are they overthinking it? They're sort of feeling, you know, what? Then you're thinking, why am I thinking that I'm overthinking? And then it goes on and on and on. So that's what we're talking about at the moment. Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Do you think we think too much? Are we? What's this one? What's your name? What's your name? Carter, welcome. Yeah, there's a lot of thinking. But do we think too? What do you think, Jamila? Do we think too much?
Sometimes, I don't know. I mean, right now, obviously we're coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people are overthinking.
Yeah.
You know, understandably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some people do overthink.
Okay, I mean, that's interesting. You're relating this to the pandemic. So, Is it about the pandemic that is letting people or causing people to overthink? Yes, Solomon, you've got a point over there. Go on.
Sometimes I feel like I'm overthinking.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any way to? Is it because of the pandemic? Because you've been locked down for such a long time?
Yes.
Okay. So the lockdown. There's a point. Okay. Latifa.
During lockdown, there's so much tension in the house because we're doing like online learning and that wasn't like working. So it make us just studying all day long. Okay. And if you didn't get a question right, he'll make us study it like 1,000 times. Just so.
Okay, so there's a reason why you were worried about getting the answer wrong. It's because your dad was putting some pressure on, too an intense atmosphere. Was there a point there from you, Margot? And I think there's a point from Justin. Go and grab that one then, yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean, obviously this is the first pandemic that I've lived through, but I can definitely...
You weren't living through the 1918 pandemic?
No, I didn't actually, as it happens. But my point was about, things getting intense in the house when, when there's... For me, it was like the weekends when, when my parents were both at home because they weren't working on the weekend, and I was there, and then they would be just like suddenly very interested in what I'm doing, where I'm going, and why am I watching this, and I think as a child I just needed my own space. Yeah. But we lived in a really tiny flat, so it was just a little bit impossible. So I would just go outside.
There was like too much pressure. You're living all in one space, especially with parents. Did your parents say, "Why aren't you studying? Why study?" When you were around? Did they?
My mum was yeah. They did. They wanted me to go to university.
And did you?
I did, yeah.
What university did you go to?
University of Essex.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so you got a point here, Latifa.
But also, that was also like, always like, why are you not studying? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? Yeah. And like, he would wake us up at he would wake us up so early in the morning, just to get ready to study and stuff.
Right.
And we could just wake up ourselves and like stuff.
Maybe lockdown should be a place where you don't have to wake up early. We talked about it earlier on. Was there a point from you, Justin, about this, about any of these things?
The worst time in lockdown, I think, was around January and February because it was cold then. You couldn't even go out for your daily walk. But one thing that I had in my flat that really helped me, I've got this enormous coffee table book of Disneyland with all these sunny pictures of Disney Castle, and I used to reach for that in the middle of the lockdown, and it really helped me.
Okay, so a Disneyland book, would that help you? You could say, look, I'm reading this book, but it's actually just a Disneyland book. Okay. Come and have a seat on the table of chat. Yes, that's you. We have got Solomon, we've got Latifa, we've got Asiya, we've got Justin over here. My name's Mikey. Tell us your name. What's your name? Just say it to Mike because I can't actually hear that. Nancy? Natalie. And what's your name? Atlas. Alex. Sit down, get involved in this. What makes you you? These are we're having some big philosophical questions. Come and get involved in this as well. There's no age limit here on Talkaoke. We're talking about what makes you you, and are we overthinking our thought processes, and is there too much pressure on us to do stuff, and did the lockdown just take away that pressure and make us think too much? Solomon, you've got a point over here. Go on.
Sometimes when I think too much, I just have a tingly feeling.
A tingly feeling. Okay. Let me tell us a bit more about this.
It's like someone is tickling you, but it's happening inside of
Okay, you're getting tickled inside your head. Interesting. Okay. What did you think about lockdown, Natalie and Alex? Did it make you think too much? Did you feel like too much pressure to study or anything like that? No? Did you enjoy the lockdown? No? Why? What's that?
I didn't get to see my friends.
Okay. So it's more about not being able to socialise and not being able to see your friends. What about you, Alex? What did you think about it? I mean, let's just turn you...
Because people can't see other people.
Okay, so it's more about seeing other people, but you didn't feel like pressure, like, what am I doing here in this room on my own, kind of, you didn't feel that too much? No? Okay, Solomon, over to you. Yeah, go on. Go on, yeah. Whoa, yeah.
It just feels weird because you had to stay at home and you couldn't do anything.
Yeah, okay. So staying at home, not being able to... I mean, how do you feel now? Do you feel excited to be able to go out and do stuff? Do you feel like, I don't know, a little bit strange to be out and about? Latifah, go on, yeah.
Well, it actually feels a bit strange because we've been in lockdown for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
So to be seeing everyone and going back to school safely without any rules in our school, it's a bit weird. Like every day now we have to go and drop packed lunch at the hall and eat at the hall. But before we used to eat in our classroom, and I always forget when I go inside the school to drop my packed lunch at the hall because we always used to drop it inside the classroom.
Okay, so you're kind of back to normal. What do you think about this on this side? Natalie, Alex, does it feel weird to be back, to be doing things, going back? No? Do you go to school? Do you go to a local school? No? A bit of a distance away. I mean, what about you, Alex? Do you feel weird to come back into out of lockdown? Does it feel a bit weird? No. Okay, interesting. What about you, Justin? Does it feel weird to come out of lockdown?
Well, it's kind of...
Keep on putting on
We've been out of lockdown now for, what, about 3 or 4 months? And the lockdown is kind of receding into the past. And it's almost like feeling it... Did it really happen? Was it some sort of weird dream?
Was it some kind of weird dream? Was it some kind of weird state? How was your lockdown? That's what we're talking about at the moment. It was okay. Tell us about it. Come here and tell us about it maybe next time. Was it some kind of weird dream? Interesting point. Solomon.
Sometimes
I
feel weird because we've been at home in lockdown for so long and we couldn't see and we couldn't like do anything or go to the park. And it just felt weird.
Okay, but does it feel weird now? Do you feel like it was a dream, that it was a strange dream?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Interesting. So you're agreeing with Justin there. So I guess we're talking about lockdown. How was your lockdown? Margot, have you got any thoughts on this? Did it feel like a strange dream?
When I think about it now, it almost did feel like a strange dream because it almost was. I've got some recollection of what I've been doing in lockdown, but a lot of it was just like really non-specific. I think I was overthinking things a bit more in lockdown because we just had all this time on hand. Our hands.
I guess that's how it came up today. Is we were actually started talking about overthinking, and is it down to lockdown actually that we're overthinking?
I don't know, but I think it's just. Depends, I think. I think therefore I am. Here's something that describes who we are.
Okay. Justin?
I actually feel that I benefited, that I'm a better person because of the lockdown, paradoxically. With all that time on my hands, I used it, some of it, to look up people that I'd always been saying, I wonder what they're doing now. If I get time, I'll look them up. And I did do just that. And I now have people from my past back in my life, which wouldn't have happened because when we didn't have time. And another thing I've noticed about myself is that I'm much more patient in my daily life. When I was walking around, because you had so much time, you didn't have to rush anywhere.
Right.
And if someone's walking in front of me in the street and they suddenly stop and look at their phone, I used to get really irritated by that. Now I don't. I just let things wash over me much more. I'm much more relaxed and calm. The lockdown has really helped me, and I'm a better person.
That's good stuff. Okay. So Justin's a better person. Natalie, are you a better person because of lockdown? Do you think? No? Alex, do you think you're a better person through No? Okay. What about you on this side? Solomon, Asia? Do you think you're better people? No. That's interesting. I mean, because one of the interesting things, you didn't enjoy being able to go and see friends, whereas Justin actually reconnected with friends during lockdown. That's an interesting point. There's a point from Georgia. That's why I've got this. I'll come to you in a minute, Solomon.
I agree with Justin in that I think the lockdown taught me a lot about having patience with myself.
Yeah.
And it taught me a lot about kind of gratitude for the things that I'm kind of good at.
Yeah.
Whereas I've always been quite
full of self. What do you mean by gratitude?
So being grateful for the things that I can do.
Right.
And it taught me a lot about how to deal with self-doubt, and if I did ever have any of those feelings, then
so a bit like Latifah's self-doubt about have I got the answer wrong, have I got it right?
Yeah. If
you actually got better at dealing with that.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm a lot calmer now.
Yeah.
I also found it quite interesting because my friend has a 4-year-old. No, she's 5 now, and so she had never been to school before the lockdown happened, so never experienced lockdown school pre-COVID. And it's just a bizarre kind of thought that her experience of school is always going to be tilted by COVID.
Okay, so it started with COVID as far as she's concerned.
And I don't know if that's the same for maybe
let's
few of the people
let's
here.
bring Solomon in here because he's been waiting.
Did you go to school before COVID happened?
Very patient.
And did Solomon? Okay, so you know about COVID before and after.
But anyway, what was your point, Solomon? Because you had your hand up for ages.
Sometimes you just feel weird because of lockdown, and you couldn't talk to any of your friends.
Yeah.
Or you couldn't see your cousins or anything, so I just felt weird.
Felt weird. Okay, do you feel weird now, or do you feel less weird now?
Less weird.
Okay, do you think lockdown's made you a better person?
Yes.
How? Okay, I might pass this one on to Latifah because you've got an idea about this. Has lockdown made you a better person?
I think I would say maybe in the middle.
In the middle, yeah.
Well, it kind of taught me, it kind of showed me how lonely sometimes it can be, and how you need to be safe and stuff. You need to be careful.
Yeah.
And it got me really sharing with the family and get more closer to my family.
Yeah. Okay.
And then at the same time, it was just really tense. So I couldn't do you couldn't really do anything or have your own privacy or anything because everyone was just coming together, everyone was much together because we live in a tiny place, so everyone is just together every moment, and it's just really sad.
Okay. We're talking about lockdown experiences now. So half and half, it has made you, I'll just fill you in, Ellen, on where I don't know if you could hear us from over the other side of the square. No, so basically we were talking about, we sort of moved on from this idea of I think therefore I am, and thinking, are we overthinking, to this idea, did lockdown actually lead us to overthink because we were stuck and we were just stuck in our own place, just thinking about stuff. Come and get involved in this. How was your lockdown? Are you a changed person now? Do you feel changed? So that's what we're talking about at the moment, but we got to it from this idea of are we thinking too much in lockdown, and then was lockdown weird, and then come and get involved in this. how was your lockdown? That's the question we're talking about at the moment. But anyway, so then it went to this idea about, has lockdown changed us? Justin, it's made Justin a better person. He's looked up with his friends. He's hooked up with his friends, I should say. He's kind of thought more. He's become more patient. And that's kind of like where we are. And for Latifah, she's definitely learned to be, to love her family more and, be more tolerant, I suppose, to her family. But also, it's been a bit of a tough time and a lack of expression. Asiya, did you have something you wanted to say? So that's where we are right now, basically. Go on, Georgie. You wanted to say something. Yeah, go on.
I was just also trying to think of maybe other people's experience of lockdown, and I know that quite a lot of couples, it was either a make or break. So my friend, he had only just started seeing the woman that he is now living with when COVID started, and they made the decision to live together, and they're now like an awesome couple. But then on the other hand, there were other couples that did lockdown together and then realised that they weren't meant to be together. So
they were locked in together.
And if you so the same with my sister. She really developed her.
Hang on.
You're gonna go make. We need a last thought from you.
We need a final thought from you, Latifah, before you go. Thanks for joining us as well and giving us your thoughts.
I think that overall, coronavirus has been a really big change to the world, and it hits everyone and their opinions. At the same time, it's made everyone a better person at the same time, to make everyone better and collaborate as a community and family.
Yeah, so it's actually allowed us to think a bit more about other people. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a really good point. Thanks for that. Solomon?
Lockdown makes me feel like a better person because I get to study more and it makes me feel better.
Yeah. Okay. So you think that having that pause in a way makes you feel better, and actually chance to study a bit more. Okay. Asiya, what do you think about this?
I think that people overlooked the coronavirus has made people a lot more better over the lockdown, and the people that go to school in this area, they feel more better because they don't have that much pressure as they used to be when they're in.
Okay, so it's interesting because you're. I'm taking it's your sister, Latifah, mentioned pressure and pressure to study. Do you feel like there was too much pressure before?
Yes.
Okay, and a bit less pressure now.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's actually nicer. Go on, Ellen. You jump in there if you can. Yeah.
I was going to say, following on from what Georgia said, how lockdown, it really sort of made or broke some people in terms of the relationship. I suppose in a way it really sped things up, because some of those relationships that broke up, maybe they would have ended up with that person for 3 years without realising that it wasn't going to work. So
okay, so it moved things along a bit faster. Yeah.
Saved a lot of time there.
Come and get involved in this. We're talking about what was your lockdown experience? Has it made us all better people? That's the consensus on the table, that we're all better people now because of lockdown. We've been through this experience together. Go on, Ellen. Go and jump in again, and I'll come to you, Solomon.
And I also think for me, it kind of sped things up where it helped me to sort of be just have an awareness of some of my maybe emotions and stuff, and just talk to people more about different things that I wouldn't have done before. So sped that process up.
Come and get involved in it. Are you better people now? Some say yes, and some blank looks as well. Come and get involved in this. Are we better people now? Solomon and Asiya are better people. Justin's a better person because of lockdown, and as it's actually also sped up our relationship, so we can just get on and lose the people we don't want to be with and get together with the people we want to be with. Okay. Latifa,
are we still in lockdown in a way?
Are you still in lockdown? Is
it over? Are we far enough away from this in order to be able to really sort of analyse?
Have we got enough distance?
From it to really analyse, how we grew or how we benefited or whatever.
Okay, it's all big questions, big questions here. Justin, have you got anything you wanted to say on this one?
Yeah, I feel like, let me give you an analogy from when from work. If you were sort of using
what's an analogy?
Just an example of how things improved. If you were sort of working on a particular program and you hadn't really had proper training on it, but you went on a training course, you took time away from the work, you did your training course, then you came back, you'd be so much more efficient on using the program.
Yeah.
And for me, lockdown was a little bit like that. I was sort of doing certain things, but not really. I hadn't really looked at it properly and trained myself properly. I had that time out. Now I'm back, and I'm much more holistic.
So you've had a bit of a update, in a way. That's an interesting point. Go on, Solomon.
Now we can go to different places and we don't have to stay at home anymore.
Yeah.
And we can now we can go to school.
Yeah.
And now we can see different people.
Okay. Garcia, you wanted to jump in there?
Sometimes I feel like COVID the COVID lockdown was a break for some people.
Yeah.
Then they can have like some time to spend with their family, to get more closer.
Yeah.
But some people also thought that they wanted some private space.
Okay, so it was a break, but also maybe a bit of a lack of a private space. I guess it depends. If you live on your own, if you live with lots of other people, it makes a huge difference, I suppose. So it was like a break, like a sort of break, a chance to refresh, chance to upgrade, if you had that space to actually do that, I suppose. Go on, Justin.
I was interested in what you were saying, Elam, about you were thinking about your emotions. Do you feel that because of this, your relations with the people in your life have improved because you're maybe looking at it from a slightly different angle? And is that what you were saying? I
suppose because my emotions were so intense, I had to talk to people about it. It's not something I could hide, because unfortunately people commented that I was showing my emotion on my body, so I ended up having to talk to people about it and stuff. So you know what, I think it.
But is that a bad thing to express your emotion?
Yeah, well, I learned that it's not a bad thing to be honest about how you're feeling inside, because so often you might be feeling a certain way. Well, I might be feeling a certain way, but I didn't feel comfortable telling people.
Right.
But now, because I was physically showing it, I just had to be open, and I realized, you know what, it's so much easier to just be open about, if you're feeling sad or angry. It's a lot. So you do end up being a bit more connected with other people, and then you realize that, of course other people are going through this as well, so feeling the same way as well. So
in the end it was quite a good thing.
Yeah, it was definitely a beneficial thing. And also as well, when you kind of are more open with your emotions, you kind of accept it more rather than trying to just suppress it, That's what I think.
Okay, interesting. Go on. Oh, Solomon over. Go on, Solomon. Yeah.
In lockdown, I kind of felt bad because I couldn't see too much people. I could only call them on my sister's phone.
Yeah.
And it made me feel sad.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel that you can express that sadness a bit more?
Yes.
Come and have a seat on the table. 2 minutes. Has lockdown made you a better person? That's what we're talking about. Well, go and sit over there. Then just the back of your head will be there. Okay, we've managed to get a new punter. We've got Latifa, we've got Solomon, we've got Asia, we've got Ellen, we've got Justin and Mikey. Tell us your name.
Hello, I'm
Anne, welcome. Yes, yeah. I just need to turn you up, because one of the things is, someone asked, is lockdown over? Is this all over? It's not quite over for us at Talkaoke, because normally we've just got the one mic that we pass around, but now we've got like 6 mics. So it's all a bit different. Anyway, what we're talking about, we've actually gone quite philosophical today. We first of all talked about what makes you you. Then is it thinking or is it not thinking? And then it was like, well, are we thinking too much? Are we actually thinking too much? And then it was like, oh, it's actually lockdown that's making us think too much because we're just stuck inside thinking and thinking and thinking. Then we started talking about lockdown. What has the effect of lockdown been for pretty much everyone? It's made us better people. We've been more patient, more considerate, all of these things, more generous. All of these things, and then we're sort of like talking about what we're talking about now is kind of like, I suppose coming out of lockdown, and are we able now to be a bit more kind of? Oh no, I've got people mixed up here. What's your name? We didn't get your name. Was it?
Shalom.
Shalom.
Yes.
And we've got Latifah over here. So that's basically where we are with this conversation. I don't know if that makes any sense. Have you got a final thought, Asiya? If you're gonna... Okay, it's just a little private note, but stay involved in the conversation. Where are we going to go with this conversation? Ellen, did you have something you wanted to say?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. So, have you been listening to the conversation, Shalom? Have you got any thoughts on this? Has lockdown made you a better person?
Yes.
In what way?
Before lockdown, I wasn't able to concentrate on what I wanted to do and to focus on stuff. But as lockdown, I was able to make choices easier and better.
Okay, so is that what was that about? Was it what allowed you? Because one of the things that Sia said is that suddenly there was less pressure. At school, we were under a lot of pressure. And I think you said that as well, Latifah. The pressure was. Is it the same for you? Was it about having less pressure, or was it a different reason?
It was a different reason.
Yeah.
Before lockdown, I didn't have much time to think about my options, but during lockdown, I had enough time to think about what I wanted to do.
Okay, so you had a bit more time to actually think about what you wanted to do, who you wanted to be. Can we get involved in this? Has lockdown made you a better person? That's what we're talking about at the moment. We didn't ask you, Anna, has it made you a better person?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Why?
I'm a worse person. I think I'm worse.
Yeah, why?
I think I'm less tolerant, less patient than I was before.
Okay, well, Justin's definitely got more patience. It seems like a lot of people have got more patience. I wonder what happened there.
I guess maybe there's a link between that and happiness. If you're less happy, maybe you're less patient.
Okay, so maybe just being stuck inside all the time made you less happy. Okay, Georgia, you got a point as well.
I was just going to go with what Ellen was saying in terms of like people and the like acting on the relationships that are in your life. I definitely I cut out people that I didn't want to see physically. Like I didn't want to be part of a WhatsApp conversation with someone that I probably didn't care too much about.
Okay, so you cut off your WhatsApp conversation.
Yeah, and that was a real big thing for me because like previously I'll give people the time, whereas if I thought that I wasn't going to physically see someone, then I probably wasn't going to continue the conversation online or whatever.
Okay, so you actually cut out a few people,
which I think actually made me a better person.
Before you go,
we need a final thought.
A final thought from you because you had a really good point about being a better person, having less time. Give us a final thought.
My final thought is lockdown was better for me because I was able to think, reflect on everything I've done so far.
Okay, so it's back to this whole thinking thing. This is really, really interesting theme of this session. It's all been about thinking. And is it a good thing or a bad thing? And it's maybe both. I don't know. Are you back or are you giving us a final thought?
I agree with them.
I'll leave that up to you. So some people felt less happy. Some people had more time and less pressure. Go on, Margot.
I wonder if this library could be some kind of time to kind of could be an opportunity to think about things.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about library of time, but you know, maybe it could be just like a chill out zone where you can kind of consider all the different life options because you were saying that during lockdown you had time to kind of think about. But then you were saying, Anna, that lockdown made you maybe a worse person because you lose patience. And earlier on today we were talking about somebody saying maybe we should have some kind of not meditation. What was she saying? Like a Tai Chi or something like that classes. And I think to me all of this kind of ties in with like practicing time, patience, and giving yourself time and space to explore different options, just something that we don't have. And I think library could maybe do that. I've just learned, as I was getting this chicken, I learned that the terrace there, the balcony, is, I think it's called the balcony on the lake or something like that, because once you're up there, all you can see basically is the lake. And I just thought, that's brilliant. That's if you drop something in the lake. But yeah, and I just thought it's such a brilliant natural opportunity as well, just to kind of help people chilling out.
Yeah, no, it's true.
And think.
Are we chilling out enough? There's a lockdown shown us.
Yeah.
We should chill out more. Where's my bottle of water?
Oh shit, you can have this one if you like.
Oh, thank you. Ellen.
I was gonna say that. You know, during lockdown, I've never been an angry person. I've never really had angry emotions, but I remember waking up angry a couple of times. And I was just like, whoa, I have to do something about this. I need to chill out, man. This is intense. So, yeah. What am I saying?
Before you go, give us a final thought. You contributed to this. So give us
It would be great to have time space, like you mentioned.
Time space, yeah. Okay, because one of the things we talked about was a library of time, but maybe a library of time space, where you actually get time and space that different times and space you can borrow in the library. Yeah. Thank you very much, and thanks for taking part. Okay, where we're going to go with this conversation?
So I guess I'm saying I wish I had a place, but I could have maybe processed that emotion. I mean,
could you have gone to a library of time space?
Yeah, I think so. Like, or even just having I did have a view that I appreciated, but yeah, maybe doing something with other people collectively. Yeah, Talkaoke. I remember Talkaoke was helpful. The virtual Talkaoke. Yeah, I remember like after I do a virtual Talkaoke, I'd always feel like, I feel so good now. Yeah, or just be around other people who are also going through the same thing. Yeah, it was very beneficial for me during the whole lockdown period, for sure.
Okay, come and have a seat on the table of chat. I promise not to spray you with bits of virtual patty. We're more socially distanced now, so it's okay. Yeah, I think so. We're talking about, it's a free-form talk show. We're talking about whatever. We've got Solomon, we've got Asia, we've got Ellen, Margot, and Justin. I'm Mikey. And we're talking about, has lockdown made you a better person? And then,
but you know, did you hear the alarm go off the other day for 2.5 hours?
No, I didn't. But we were talking about noise pollution earlier on.
Right, the kids went back to school on Wednesday.
Yeah.
For 2.5 hours, this alarm went off.
Oh no.
First day back at school.
Yeah.
And someone in bed at 12:30.
Okay, so.
So where's the tuning?
Okay, so once again, earlier on we were talking about noise pollution and what an effect it can have. Tell us your name, by the way.
My name's Sharon.
And this is Solomon, Asia, and Ellen, and Margot, and Justin.
I've been here with Binti Walk.
Say that again?
Binti Walk.
Oh, yeah.
With the doctors. Lived there for 14 years.
Yeah.
Then I moved to Mangold Way.
Yeah.
But my two boys grew up on the left.
Yeah. Whoops.
And then I lived in East Paxine.
Yeah. Is that better? Worse? Anyway, but what about this idea about?
I think it's going to be.
Yeah. Are we going to go back to normal
it's
now?
It's going to be overcrowded, Brandy.
Okay. Too many people.
Yeah, and you know we've only got one doctor's here.
Yeah.
We can't even get in a doctor's now. What's it going to be like when these all come out? Are they going to do another doctor's here?
Is there going to be enough doctors in the area?
Doctor's surgery?
Yeah.
I've tried to get in there for 4 days.
Yeah.
I've got to ring up at 8 o'clock and you wait for about an hour and they go, we ain't got no...
Yeah. I know the...
So they're doing all these buildings which look lovely. Where's the parking spaces? Where's the new doctor's surgery?
Yeah, okay. So there's a lot of amenities going in. We're kind of like, I mean, where do we want to take this conversation? We're kind of like at a crossroads. Do we want to talk about, or maybe we can connect it? Do we need, I mean, maybe we do need to have these things.
You need
to have that peaceful state of mind.
Doctor's surgery here, right, because they've got so much backlog. We've got over the other side in here. There's the parking space here. You've got to pay private.
Yeah. So
we're paying £160 a week to live here.
Yeah.
And now they're making us pay £20 a year. But if a visitor comes, it's £60 a year.
So, I mean, we're talking about peace of mind. Is that a way to create peace of mind?
A lot of people around here ain't got that money.
Yeah, exactly. There's a point from George. There's a point from Solomon as well.
What do you want, Solomon?
Solomon, go on.
In lockdown, I felt like you have too much time to stay at home, and you couldn't go anywhere, or you couldn't invite someone to your birthday.
No.
We had no parties, no birthdays.
So it's quite a difficult time. Was there a point over? Ellen, go on.
I was going to say, I mean, should there be a party around here? Should today have been like a party with music and talking, of course, you know, food, balloons, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
You know, is that what we're missing? Like more, you know, parties, community parties, you know?
Party atmosphere, yeah.
And it's different cultures. Like we got black people. My son's black. We've got three black boys. And we've got Asians around here. You've got Afghanistan's around here. You've got English. We all need to come together and communicate. No wars.
Go on, Georgia.
I found it really interesting that the mention of doctor's surgeries has been brought up, and I know across the country that it's impossible to get a GP appointment anyway, but it's the first time that I've heard of doctor's surgeries in all the Talkaokes that I've been to. Yeah, here today, and also I've done quite a few of these, and I just find it really interesting. Would it be, because I know that there's a shortage of GPs and like people and everything, would it be something that could be included in the library, like health, like information, like putting health information in the library?
Under the mental health system. Under the mental health system, and I'll try and get in, and I'll go to MP's Road in Erith.
Yeah.
You know the Talkaoke.
I know Erith, but only the fish round.
Right, but to get into the doctor's stat, it's like, there's a lot of people around here with mental health.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and I know a lot of people that live in these flats here, and they can't even get a wheelchair.
Yeah. I mean, would this be a good?
So can they do something in here in the library? Because it's so big.
A talk or something every week. Because I know that but I know that winter's coming. And at my work we're being prepped for a surge in winter illnesses, and I don't know if we've been prepped or not.
Let me get a final thought from Solomon.
Solomon, we need a final thought. Are you coming back?
We'll get a temporary final thought from you.
What do you think?
What do you think about this? You in a way, it is mental health, isn't it? If you're saying you're crammed up and you're not happy. We heard of a few people not happy being crammed up in their houses over lockdown. That is a kind of mental health, isn't it? So, how do you have a better mental health? It could be one for you, Solomon.
You could eat vegetables.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
And help others with food. Because our mum and dads didn't work properly, we need more food, don't we? Did your mum and dad like that?
More food, and maybe sharing food as well. It was one of the first things I just scoffed a patty, but sharing food as well would be...
Sharing and caring.
Sharing and caring. Okay, so where are we going to take this comment? Should we talk about mental health, address this mental health question? Let me just bring up, we're going to, but don't forget, we're running into our final leg here because we're closing down at 3 o'clock. So, so we are starting to, you know, I mean, I could do because I need to eat this as well. But let me just get this point, solicit this point from Justin, and then maybe you could jump in if you've and you get a point from you as well, and then you can maybe jump in, Ellen, and I can eat the rest of the food.
Hi then, Helen.
What I was going to say was, people are talking about having difficulty getting to see the doctor. Problem that I've had recently is getting to see the dentist. I went in a couple of weeks ago and discovered that because I'd not been in during the lockdown, as no one had been in, they deregistered me from the NHS without telling me.
I didn't even know they could do that.
I didn't.
To my dentist.
I didn't know that either, Mikey, and I was not happy about it. They've now put me on the waiting list to go back on the NHS.
And where is your doctor? Dentist?
It's a dentist, yeah. So. No, I live in Notting Hill now. But I suspect this may have happened to other people, not just in my area. Lots of dentists will have deregistered their NHS patients without even telling them.
Okay, Ellen, you got a point?
Well, I remember, I mean, my previous point was that there was a lot of like sharing of food, you know, there's a lot of the mutual aid groups, so people were delivering food during the whole lockdown. But that just reminds me, I know that a couple of months ago there was that text message going around saying that the NHS are now...
There's a what? What going around?
Oh, just on a separate point, there was a text message.
Or
should I say WhatsApp message or whatever, going around saying that the NHS are going to be like selling your data and stuff, so you had to kind of opt out of this.
Right.
But I remember September was the time when this was going to be happening, so I was just reminded of the fact that I need to look into that.
Okay, so check out whether the NHS is going to be selling your data. Deregistering you and selling your data.
Yeah, I need to find out the date. I know it's September.
Okay.
It got extended.
Well, it is second-hand September this September, so a lot of the gags have been upcycled. And maybe all your data is getting sold second-hand. Are you ready to go in? Because I'm going to then eat this food. So, okay, we're going to keep this warm. So, you're going to go.
I've got lots to say, but come on.
Well, this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. Go and grab the mic and quickly say it. Quickly say it. And we'll do a changeover.
There's a lot of families on here that are on benefits, universal credit. And we all go into the schools to get food vouchers and everything. And it's ridiculous. You can't. I've got a 3-bedroom house over here. I've only got one son who moved out. I have to pay £120 a month for bedroom tax. Yeah. Disgusting. And I have to feed my little boy and do his school uniform and try and buy fresh food. And they're building all these and we all feel like we're closed in. And where's the car parks and what they build a park, but how strong is it? For all these buildings, look, how strong is that?
Yeah. So you're saying that although they're building these new properties, the facilities
they're trying to make
really
money
there.
They can't make money when a lot of people here are unemployed.
Right. Okay.
They're unemployed. They're on universal credit.
They're on universal credit, etc., etc. So so you're saying there's just not enough facilities for people. There's not enough.
And you can't walk around the lake like that because they might fall in the lake. You can't feed the ducks and do whatever we do. Because I've got a 29-year-old, 25, and a 7-year-old.
Okay.
My boys live in Greenwich near the Cactus Arc. They live the life around there. But here, what is it? There's my little boy there. What is it about?
Hello. But you know, apparently one of the things that they want to do here today is kind of, you know, create a steering group or
and let
committee.
People talk. Let people talk about it.
Yeah.
But when you look, we're all underneath each other.
Is there any kind of steering?
We're all gonna ride. We're all gonna ride, ain't we?
Yeah.
Don't like her and I don't like him.
Yeah.
You got that little bit of thing there, and how strong's that part?
Would you join some kind of group that helps to shape the way things are developing?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah?
I would.
Has this group existed before? You've been living in the area for 15 years.
I used to be You know, security person, you know, like I live in a house.
Ah, okay.
I could be like
neighbourhood watch.
Neighbourhood
was it?
watch.
Oh, neighbourhood watch. Okay.
So if you go and whatever.
So do you think we need to bring back some kind of neighbourhood watch? Yeah. And
like the other day, this building was going on for 3 hours.
Yeah, yeah,
with alarm.
yeah.
Where's the security men? Where's the security men? All the kids could not sleep. People were trying to. I went, I ain't telling them to take. My son goes to bed at 8 o'clock.
You know what, right? Do you think it was like an intentional thing? Everyone knew school was going back. Do you think some child?
I don't know, but then someone said they broke into the building, but there's nothing in the building.
Yeah. For that to be broken into. So if there was to be some kind of neighbourhood watch, what would the responsibilities of this group be? You know, especially now that you've got new people moving in.
Look all these kids that go. What we get boys round here at night time, just sit there, don't do anything.
Yeah.
You know where the orange lights are around the corner?
Yeah.
They sit there, just sit there and talk.
Yeah. Chat.
I don't know, something's going to happen to them. I've got 2 older boys and they don't go nightclubs or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm scared for my boy to go out now.
Ah, so you actually fearful of your son sort of going out? Yeah. Is there somebody who you can
You try and
do you talk to your neighbours? Do you talk to your neighbours?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Do you guys all sort of work together to get in touch with them?
But no, like you say, look, I'm not saying it horribly, but it's the culture.
Right. It's the culture.
I've got 2 white boys and a little black boy.
Yeah.
The culture. I'm not letting him out my sight.
Right.
And don't you think that as well for yourself?
No. I mean, look, I'm in the middle of the table. I'm not meant to give my opinion here. What do you like about the area?
Just
you like going
to the park.
Come closer. Talk into the microphone. There.
Come, mummy.
Yeah, there you go. What's your name?
Say Drew.
Drew. What do you like about living in this area?
Playing in the water fountain.
Speaking to the mic.
Playing to the water fountain.
Playing in the water fountain. What other things would you like to see in the area?
We've got the wood park, haven't we?
Yeah.
We feed the duck.
Yeah.
This park is so small with 1,000 kids around here. Look, how many kids can get in that park? It's not very big.
So more parks? Would you like to see more parks?
Yeah.
And I think they should have them like a skating thing, you know?
Okay. Some like a
ramp.
A skate ramp?
Near Hill.
Yeah.
Fanny on the Hill, sorry.
Yeah.
Fanny on the Hill. I take him up there.
Yeah.
They've got a skateboard thing, you know, because a lot of kids around here play skateboards and scooters.
Yeah. So you're saying, well, what do you want to see in this area? Do you want to see a skate park? Would you like to see a skate park in this area?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, and
She's
would
a
you?
teacher at his school.
Oh, lovely. Would you ride your scooter on the skate park? Can you actually ride scooters in a skate park?
Yeah,
is that possible?
Is that possible? You've got skateboards.
Yeah.
Have you been on Fanny on the Hill?
Come and give us 2 minutes of your time. Let us know what you want to see in the library. What do you like about this area? Oh, okay. Oh, we got a teacher. Oh, you've been exposed. TA, is there a difference between a teacher and a teaching assistant?
I think they're the same.
You know?
Because they do the same job.
Come and give us 2 minutes of your time. Go on. Georgia?
I know that when we were last here 6 weeks ago, there was a lot of talk about the area being good for playing football.
She's a teacher. She's an assistant. She's not a teacher.
Okay.
Take a seat. Give us 2 minutes of your
got
time.
children.
Let's get in your name. What's your name? We got Lily, Jane. Remind me of your name again. Sharon. We got Mikey. We have Justin. We got Georgia. We got Margot. I'm Ella. This is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show. And Sharon is currently filling you in about what we've been talking about over the last couple of minutes.
Don't you think we need a skateboard thing or whatever?
I mean, what are some of the highest, hold that thought, Sharon.
It's security, we need security around it, don't we?
Sharon, hold that thought. Georgia, I know you had a point there.
With a lot of windows of people watching.
Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
I said this is a big open space, lots and lots of windows where there's a lot of people going to be watching children.
Yeah. Right.
And so some sort of security would be better because you don't know who's in the flats.
You don't know who's in the flats. What do you think about this idea that someone mentioned before about the fact that everyone can kind of look into the courtyard? It kind of creates a sort of safety. so you can see what's going on. But you know, I want to grab the point from Georgia on this side. What was your point, Georgia?
I was saying that when we were here last, there was a lot of mention of being able to play football in this square, and I think there's quite a lot of mention of a swimming pool or some kind of swimming facility. But there wasn't a skateboard.
I think they need to get a football cage.
So
for the young kids and basketball. Like, because before this was built, we had a youth club underneath, didn't we? Do you remember? No.
I'm not really that long.
Right. They had a youth centre underneath the shop, and my two boys used to go there.
Yeah.
And you sign them in and sign them out.
Yeah.
And they had gates and everything. There's nothing for the young kids. Right? What's there to do, Randall, for the young kids?
So imagine that, like an underground youth club. I just want to grab this point from Margot.
We're probably kind of moving to the final thoughts bit because it's the last 5 minutes, but I'm interested in what you said. Did I understand your point correctly? There's so many people kind of living around here and they'll be looking at children, maybe they're not the right, I mean,
you don't know who they are.
Yeah,
and with the water, say in the summer, children will probably be running around in little shorts and t-shirts, getting wet, and that's scary to me.
That's scary for me as well.
As a mum.
It ain't about girls, it's about boys as well.
Yep.
And so, who are they putting in these properties?
I mean, but who do they put in these properties?
Yeah.
Who gets the property? Anyone can buy them, or is it social housing? What is it?
Is it full or council?
I don't know.
I really don't know.
Have you met anyone who's recently moved into the area?
No.
Would you like to meet?
New ones.
Would you like to meet some of the people who've just moved in?
Yeah, that's the thing, is it? Maybe
but you know what?
Bringing the community together makes you feel a bit more.
Yeah, and people can put an act on.
Because at the moment where it's all new, you just it's a bit scary.
And you know, people can put an act on.
Yeah.
An act.
People. What? Sorry, say that again.
Put an act on.
People can put an act on.
Because I've been in a situation like that before.
Yeah. I mean, I know the library's here, so I know that one of the things is that the local authority, they want to create like a steering group. So would you maybe a sort of community event needs to be organised?
And I would like him to come to this library and join me.
In the
and
library.
You know that story time that we do at school? And I want him to join the library.
Yeah, story time.
I want everything like that. But like you say,
there's no carpet in there though. Sorry.
You got to judge. You got to judge people.
You know, I remember when I moved into where I lived, there was, I was like an old resident, there was some new residents, and I organised like a coffee morning, so the old and new residents could meet, and it was quite successful actually. Yeah. I think now I would.
So do you think they do that in the library?
So maybe that's something that local residents could organise.
Oh, usually they used to do it in a school, didn't they, when the babies were little, then we used to go playtime.
Yeah. All right, Mikey.
Mum and baby groups.
Yeah, that's
like
it.
That. Yeah.
I'm just saying it's.
Is it time for final thoughts? Yeah. All right.
It's time for final thoughts.
Final thoughts. What's your final thought, Mikey?
I'm going to try to with you.
I think obviously all these things link together. Either through a fundamental law of gravity, where all things are connected, or through thinking through. Like, what is it for us to be us? And who are these other people?
Yeah.
Do we trust them? Do we not trust them? How does this? What is mental health? Is mental health something that you have individually, or is it a collective thing that we all have together? So I think these are some of the questions that come to me in this session. It's been a very entertaining and stimulating session.
Stimulating. Sharon, any final thoughts? Anything that you'd like to leave us with?
Just be safe and help us around here with our children.
Yeah, be safe and help us around here with the children.
And make more activities around here for the kids.
Yeah, activities for the children.
Because that's stupid and that park ain't going to help, is it?
It seems like the library is going to be a really great hub.
Yeah. Give us like story time. Go to the library and read books.
Yeah.
Well, they do computers at school, don't they?
Yeah.
On after school. And just make it better.
Bring back the mum and baby groups and things like
that. Any final thoughts from yourself?
I think you summed it up really.
So it's summed up.
We've known each other for a while. In Willowbank School.
Oh, okay,
But
nice.
Willowbank School's a good school.
Yeah, and
We've got great teachers.
Yeah, and it's
everything.
local.
It's only across
Okay,
the road.
okay.
I think we need more. They're all right. And when that alarm went off for 3 hours every night, where's the like all
Yeah.
these flats are getting made.
Yeah.
Where's the security men?
Earlier we were
Why
talking.
didn't they turn the alarm off? The kids
Yeah.
were going back to school 3 hours.
Earlier we were talking about noise pollution actually, but any final thoughts from yourself?
No.
Anything that you'd like to leave us with? Anything you'd like to leave us with? Yeah, no, thank you for joining us. Margot, any final thoughts?
I just wanted to say about this, I think you made really good points, and I think the steering committee that Ellen mentioned, if you wanted to kind of put your names down for it, then it may be just a nice way of trying to, connect with the new residents, whoever they will be in the future, I suppose, and also have some kind of influence on what's happening in the area, because I think part of the, for me, usually when I feel unsafe is like when if I just don't know what's happening, who are the people around. So perhaps it's a step towards getting to. Yeah. So I would just say I'll come round with an iPad if you want to pop your details. I mean, obviously you don't have to because it's completely up to you. But we'll pass it on to Peabody, who are developing it, and they're going to be driving the steering committee. I think it may be an interesting thing for you to get involved with.
Yeah. Hey, Georgia, any final thoughts?
I really like the idea that you just literally slipped in that you set up a coffee morning. So I think I like this idea of people doing. If they've got an idea, then do it.
Get up and do it.
Don't wait for the council to do it for you, because some councils are not good.
Yeah, and also because they don't live in the area, they don't quite know what's going on.
I'm liking this idea of doing things if you've got an idea.
Yeah. And I think sometimes these councils, they have funding and stuff that that's how I kind of organised them. Justin, any final thoughts from yourself?
You've talked a lot about the issues specific to this area. For me, I live in Zone 1, and coming here, it's been amazing for me. It's been a bit of a day trip. The amount of space around here.
Yeah.
Look down there. You can look far like that and see that greenery. I can't do that where I live.
That's
and,
really
and,
nice.
and I think people, it's nice to be able to do that, and people should appreciate that.
Yeah, that's really. I was thinking the same thing. I thought, wow, that's really nice for him to just kind of see that,
Can't look that far and see green trees.
Yeah, same. Last night I was looking out at the landscape I saw was the city, the whole Liverpool Street, everything. And I thought it was really pretty actually, but I have to say, seeing nature, nothing beats that,
You can
nothing
look
beats that.
I can't look horizontally.
And see that, I know that's
it's nice
real
to be
gift.
surrounded by trees and by nature.
Yeah.
That's one thing there's because London's quite flat as well, I think, as well. You can't see other aspects.
Yeah, no, it's true. All right, it looks like we have come to the end of Talkaoke. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. And will we be back this side of the 2021? You might see us at some point in 2022. So stay tuned until that point, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
For Talkaoke, the people speak to all.uk.
Exactly.
We will be back. We'll be back with the chats, taking it wherever it goes, really.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it.
If you want some more of this, you can come to our studio session on the 30th of September. And we possibly got a gig on the 18th of September. It's a little bit in limbo in Poplar.
Oh, local.
So it's just through the Woolwich Foot Tunnel or Woolwich Ferry, and you're there. So do come and visit us in East London.